Welcome everyone to Session 1 of Triumph of the Tusk. 2 months ago, the people of Golarion bore witness to an event unseen in eons. The death of a god is one thing. Eridan's corpse turning up on the prophesied day of his return was enough to bring about an entirely new era, the death of prophecy itself. This time, however, murder happened directly above the heads of mortals. The war god Gorum has fallen, his blood and shards of his armor raining across the lands and bringing an entirely new reason for conflict to the peoples of this world. Strangely enough, though, those that the general populace believed would be the first to revel in such an era of slaughter are instead those that are championing peace. The orcs of Belkzen aren't known for getting along with their surrounding nations, or even one another for that matter, but there is a notable exception that has come at the perfect time: the Flood Truce. Each year, from late spring to early summer, the collected snow and ice in the Tusk Mountains rapidly melts. Flash floods flow down the mountains and arroyos into the flood road, temporarily turning the entire central stretch of Belkzen into a riverbed. This influx of water leads to explosive plant growth, drawing the orcs from their wintering grounds to the now verdant area. These orcs are vital to the survival of the Belkzen orcs. They serve as both a primary source of meat and of hide for the coming year. During this time, dozens of orc holds establish camps near the flood road, ranging in size from 10 individuals to over 1,000. Unlike the rest of the year, while the orcs are here, they set aside all conflicts. They won't necessarily aid other holds, but they stay out of their way. They let each hold gather what resources it can, relatively unimpeded. With the recent death of Gorum and the onset of this so-called War of Immortals, Belkzen has begun to experience its own upheaval. Its own pantheon of gods have undergone radical change, some being corrupted by the rough beast, others going missing for unexplained reasons, others yet being defeated by orc champions who sought to take their place amongst the divine. So most orcs are, on edge right now, and the Flood Truce has come at the best, or perhaps worst, time. Ardax the White-Hair, leader of the Empty Hand Hold, is currently the most influential orc leader in Belkzen. With the Whispering Tyrant's recent attempt to regain control of this region, Ardax knows that the holds must create a deeper connection with one another and the surrounding nations to keep from getting picked off individually by the Lich. It is to that end that Ardax has personally invited dignitaries from a number of holds, as well as numerous outsiders, to a place he calls Torrentmoot. He hopes that this time of peace can become a productive way to build new alliances and strengthen old ones simultaneously. You all are among those invited to this gathering. Whether representative of another hold or a member of a foreign organization, Ardax cares not for your origins, your experience, your skills, your influence. These are what matter most to him, and the mutually beneficial alliances you can together forge. We begin our story roughly 3 weeks prior to the deluge, the time when the first waters will come pouring out of the mountains, on the 14th of Desnis, 4724 AR. A dry, rocky expanse spreads out in all directions. The only visible plants are scrubby bushes clinging to the edge of a flat, dusty roadway gently curving to the north. To the east of the road, the land rises to a low plateau that's bare except for a sprawling encampment. And beyond that, white-capped mountains pierce the horizon. Within the encampment, a chaotic yet vibrant sprawl of tents stand in an oblong circle around a large central bonfire. The tents are mostly simple affairs, tanned aurochs hide stretched across wooden frames with a variety of colorful banners of the different organizations and holds fluttering from their peaks. Paths of trampled dirt wind through the camp, connecting tents and the split logs that form rough benches and tables around the common space. The varied voices of roughly 40-plus orcs, dromars, other humanoids are mixing into a low hum of sound, punctuated by the occasional cheering at contests of strength and the sound of tools being used by the other artisans that are present. As a dry wind brushes past your skin, bringing with it fine grains of dust and sand that cling to your clothes and armor, the savory scent of roasting meat manages to help mitigate the more prevalent smell of leather, sweat, and many unwashed bodies. As our first individual arrives at this campsite, ready to join the festivities and conversation, Gwyn, would you please describe for us your character?
Okay. So, Gwyn is relatively tall, elven humanoid with fairly shorter, like, brownish red hair, clad in, I know the image is very, like, nice, clean armor. The armor is much more what looks like mining equipment than anything else. It is engraved, it is, like, caked in black soot that seems to have almost, like, stained the metal. They also carry with them a very large maul that seems very well worn, that they use to basically smash stone, stuff like that, and help with, like, mining equipment. They're unnaturally attractive and kind of where they are.
All right. Now, have you come representing a specific hold or organization, or are you more one of those individuals who was invited for being a more notable individual figure in the region?
Definitely invited. They're still fairly new to the region, but they've kind of made a name for themselves, again, with mining operations and sometimes just, like, sparring with people and, like, betting matches, stuff like that.
Fantastic. Someone who will undoubtedly be a great fit for this whole camp. Now, the entire campsite in front of you has a number of already set up tents. Did you bring your own tent, or are you relying on the tents that are being provided by Ardax and the empty handhold?
I would have brought my...
Fantastic. All right. Then you are more than welcome to find one of the sort of open spaces, pitch where you would like. Go ahead and give me a quick perception check, if you don't mind. For those who are new to my games, as a general rule of thumb, stealth, deception, and perception checks should practically always be made blind, and in any other situation, I will let you know. Starting off with a fantastic roll. Taking a general...
The only one per session.
Taking a general look around the campsite, there are a few people sort of gathered around the central campfire. However, it does seem that the majority have sort of broken off into small groups that are conversing with one another. It does appear that sort of the center of the circle, the northernmost area, is where the sort of largest and most important tent is. And, you know, before I do anything else, I can go ahead and just bring you on over to this map so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about as you take a look around. The rest of you, I'll put you on the map so you can see what's going on at least.
Jericho, the flood spring, is that when the Torrentmoot takes place every year, or is this one's been specially called?
So Torrentmoot is itself a new event. This is the first time it's been called. The Flood Truce as it occurs is absolutely a time where a variety of the holds will work to survive and may hold small meetings amongst one another. It is rare that such a large meeting, such as Torrentmoot, is actually called and takes place. This is the first one that Ardax has called since he became the leader of the Empty Hand. Taking a general look around, Gwyn, what you can see is a primarily orc and Dromar population having set up tents, talking to one another. You do see a number of individuals dressed in armor with weapons, seemingly acting as guards, as well as a number of what appear to be general laborers that are less interacting, conversation, and more so ensuring that the camp itself runs smoothly. Of most interesting of note to you, especially on the eastern side of the camp, there is a pair of what appear to be humans, a male and a female, dressed very fine and with the flag of what appears to be some sort of merchant association atop their tent. Those would be these figures right over here. And just past that is a series of tents and hobgoblins that seem to be dressed in armor, weapons at the ready, not currently drawn at anyone, but for the most part mingling amongst themselves and just sort of watching the rest of the goings-ons.
Okay.
Now, thankfully, coming into a place like this, of course the hosts have individuals who are there to help meet and guide newcomers, and one of those would be yet another member of our group. Currently sort of noticing your approach to camp and perhaps going to say hi and welcome you and help direct you to a spot to set up camp. Crow, would you please describe your character as a member of the Empty Hand?
I am Crow Hungry. I am a guide of spirits, a protector of the clans, and I used my wisdom and the guiding of what the bones tell me to guide all others into a path of victory, whether that is making a home or fighting for their home themselves. I have my companion Guru, who appears to be a black-footed ferret, but in actuality, he is a spirit. But I also have another spirit that sometimes I talk to, but pray that you do not meet him, for he is not as nice of a spirit as Guru. But I am here to lend my aid where I can and hopefully help these other orcs and Dormar, so that way we can be able to create a new home for all.
All right.
I do not have my own tent right now, but I do have my own sleeping bag and stuff. I tend to be a little bit down on the funds at the moment, but that's all right, because our God has told me to come here within the bones, and I trust in him.
There are, of course, also the communal tents for those who do
that
not have
too.
their own. Which, some prefer to still sleep out under the stars and moon, but for those who prefer some sort of covering, there are a number of communal tents set up for people to all share with one another. But as a either member of the Empty Handhold, or at least someone who is quite loyal to their cause, and met up with them right around when Torrentmoot was first being set up, you were asked to help introduce and settle a number of those people who are arriving here for the first time. And you see one such figure sort of arriving on his own near the western end of the campsite.
Some family. You have come to the right place.
Very much.
I cannot move towards you right now, but assured you, I am walking towards you.
Now you can.
Spirits prevent him.
All right.
Do you need a camp, a tent? We have communal ones ready, and we are more than willing to give you a place to stay.
Just a place to set up.
A place to set up. By all means, there are some open areas, and you can help yourself to them. May I have your name?
Gwyn.
Gwyn, I am Crow Hungry. Welcome. We will need your help. A community is only as strong as the people who belong to it.
I very much agree with that sentiment. I appreciate the welcome.
Very good. I give you a big, meaty handshake.
Why are you shaking someone's hand while holding meat at the same time? That's not okay.
No, it's just my hands are like big slabs of meat.
So unsanitary.
What's sanitary?
Exactly.
Or campaign, am I right?
Look, there are specifically 3 toilets at each end of the campsite, and 4 by the important people. Actually, there's more than that. I'm just lazy. But they are open toilets. There's no privacy here. Let's see. So, as Gwyn, you go to find a place to set up with Crow potentially helping out a bit, taking a look around at the various peoples that are sort of arriving. Let's see. Out of the remaining 4 of you, who else would be here and setting up their own tent at the moment? That
I
might
would
be nearby.
probably be here already.
Sure.
No, you know what? No, I wouldn't. I'd be coming.
Never
actually.
mind.
Yeah, sorry. He doesn't actually want to be here.
Okay, fair enough.
My character, Zul Thraka, or just as he goes by Zul, he would arrive with a companion, Gorza. She's one of the sergeants of the hold he is from, which is the Burning Sun.
Sure.
And whereas she would be the actual representative sent from the hold, Zul is there to gain experience from her, but he's also the representative from the very loosely based church of Maja Firehair, the recently ascended orc goddess of fire and redemption.
All right.
This is just as much a learning experience for him as it is a way for him to, in the words of his goddess, become perfect.
Well, as you arrived and Gorza went off directly to speak with Ardax upon arrival, leaving you to set up your own tents, would you please describe your character for us?
Of course. So, Zul, when you look at him, you see a grayish-skinned half-orc. He has tusks coming out of his mouth, but they are not nearly as pronounced as his full-blooded orc ken. Blue tattoos cover parts of his face, and you can see his right arm bears no hide or armor. They snake down his right arm, and they appear to be licking flames. He wears a breastplate along with a tanned cloak. On his left hip is a sheathed scimitar, and in his left hand is covered by an iron gauntlet.
All right. As you are currently sort of setting up your tent, probably somewhere in the realm of right around here, as that is the easiest open space, two more individuals. One who you've seen around camp so far, sort of helping people get acquainted, as well as a brand new individual, are both sort of arriving next to you, and the armored individual begins to take out and set up a tent of his own.
Okay. I look over at the individual. Is it someone that's already been introduced, or is this person completely new?
Oh, these are the people who are just got here. Gwyn and Orc. Or,
Oh!
Interact with each other, damn it!
You will roleplay whether you like it or not.
You have no choice.
Oh boy.
Well, as I see the two persons next to me setting up, Jericho, this area that we're in, this is just part of the Badlands, correct? It's dry, humid, barely any vegetation.
Correct.
Okay. I'll turn to Crow. Well, this place looks like shit just about everywhere else.
Ah, there is life here. Sometimes life just takes forms that we're not used to.
Forms? But you mean like the spirits?
Mm. Well, the spirits know of the other lives, and they guide the lives that are still around, whether you are aware of it or not. But Guru knows life. Guru once used to be farmer. He will help us with farming in the future. As I look at the ferret.
Zool will look at the indicated ferret.
And the ferret will say, "Hi,
Oh! Oh!
I am Guru."
It speaks! Zool will kind of, like, his eyes will kind of go wide as he's watching this ferret talk. And he'll approach and just kind of stare at Guru, like, it...
Yes.
Well, I stand corrected. And then Zool will extend his right arm, not hand, but his entire arm, for you know the bro arm clash shake.
Yeah.
He'll
So
extend his arm for one of those.
Guru will put one of his paws on you and give you a shake.
All right, Guru, it is nice to meet you, and my name is Zool, and you friends, and he'll point to both Crow and Gwen.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
And Crow laughs. It is indeed good to meet new friends.
There's too much energy in this party. I need to start on the trauma soon.
Oh no. Oh, has anything exciting happened so far? Has it just been everyone arriving?
Here now, mostly just arriving, both. But the spirits are turning. I feel like something may come soon.
Yeah. The most common sort of events that are occurring right now, aside from general conversation, are minor tests of strength. Arm wrestling, a bit of actual wrestling, mostly sort of happening along the outskirts of the campsite proper. The festivities have begun and are in full swing, but there's no direct events that are occurring.
Crow Hungry was champion back at the village.
Really? This I must see.
Would you like a test?
Yes.
Mm.
Shall it be with an arm or the entire body?
Which would you prefer?
The entire body. First one to the ground.
All right. We shall use athletics as our initiative.
We are not going to roll initiative for this. I think I'm just going to have opposing athletics rolls as Gwyn, you've started setting up your tent as these two immediately hit it off and are already wrestling.
Sounds
All right. Just flat athletics. Okay.
Yep, let's go ahead and get an athletics check from both Zool and Crow as the two of you break away slightly from the tents and begin trying to wrestle one another to the ground.
Oh.
And Zool, you don't even get your feet set properly before Crow is on you. He has grabbed you around the waist perfectly and thrown you to the ground before you even had time to react.
And as Zool's on the ground, he's just kind of looking up, and then he looks at you, Crow, and you just see this enormous toothy grin as he slams his gauntleted hand on the ground, and he's like, "Yes! This
As
shows
I
I
give
need
you-
improvement."
I give you a hand to help you up.
And I take it and I bounce right back up.
And we shall drink later in celebration.
Why later? And I'll pull out my flask of fellowship. Why not now?
I will not say no.
All right. So I crack it open and I take a swig and then I hand it to you. And the special thing about this flask is it becomes whatever you find most pleasant.
Wow, I enjoy this very much. And then Guru's like, now be careful. We still have more work to do.
Oh.
Right. Gwyn, do you engage with these two at all, or are you more focused on just getting your stuff set up?
I'm getting set up, but kind of just like watching and just like, not really for me, but
Yeah. That's this region in the shell nut. This is what you're in for.
Oh, I forgot to ask, Crow, how tall are you? Because Zool is actually supposed to be kind of short for a Gromar.
A 7'3".
Oh yeah, I'm like 9 inches shorter than you. So it's no wonder you whoop my ass.
Yes, and I do have the wrestling dedication.
Oh, I wasn't gonna succeed at that from the start. But who cares? It was great role play.
You've already been very much on Crow's good side.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as you two are engaging with drinks by the tents that Gwyn is currently finishing setting up, let's see our next individual to arrive. Rog, you're making your own way up to this area, and thank you for sending me character art right now. Give me half a moment if you would like to start describing your character, and I will get your artwork uploaded and set up.
Rog is a young, pretty like plain looking in regards to like what he's wearing in his clothes. Druid, about 6'5". He's definitely not the tallest. He's like mid level, average height across the board. Kind of on the thinner side. He's not like a really big guy. He's got these big braids in his hair. Looks very like to the, earthy. He has kind of like a quietness with him, and he has those tattooed marks on his face and down his arms as well. He was just walking up. He's used to being outside in the elements, so he doesn't really have like too much with him. Whatever he carries on him, usually within like one hand is usually enough for him to get by. So he'll have like a very simple tent as he's walking up to set up.
Sure. You see many people already sort of conversing with one another, even right here by the entrance, amidst what looked to be a few people setting up their tents. Already a friendly little, not brawl, but wrestling match has broken out before, not even a minute later, they've pulled out a flask and are drinking together. A apparent sign of what this moot is going to include much of.
Yeah, I think he takes he's gonna try to steer as far clear from the shenanigans as possible. I think he's very focused too because he came from the stormwater to a far outpost
Mhm.
specifically to like the land is fucked up and he's from water and whatnot, so they want to try to help the land. So I think he's very like focused in his determination to get shit done.
Sure.
But he'll probably eventually crack eventually.
You'll only last so long around these
Yeah,
bozos.
exactly. Yeah, he's gonna try to like be very like determined and stoic, but it's not gonna last that long.
Right. This is a time for diplomacy, and that's very much on your mind at the moment. But this is also a time for festivities. People are very clearly mixing both together, and it is difficult to not get swept up in the atmosphere. You are free to go set up a tent of your own anywhere, or if you prefer to just sleep out in the open or take a communal tent, you are welcome to do so as well. There are a number of individuals conversing with one another, setting up their own spaces. This is definitely sort of the last day people are supposed to be arriving before the event begins in earnest.
I think he's out the elements in between some of the communal tents.
Sure. These are less communal tents. These ones are more communal tents for sure. This would actually be the tent of Ardax White-Hair, the head of the Empty Hand. So, but you are free to go and with the communal tents. The most interesting individual you pass or notice as you do so is actually a female elf in full plate mail with a very obvious holy symbol of the goddess Sarenrae emblazoned on her armor. Can you actually go ahead and give me a recall knowledge check?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, taking a look, while the holy symbol of Sarenrae is quite prevalent, you also notice another symbol emblazoned on her armor, very much looking like a sort of shattered disc that you recognize as the symbol of the Knights of Lastwall. Which for
A
anyone...
very eclectic like mix here. I think he's a little surprised about the mixture of different types of people.
Yeah. Is everyone above table aware of who the Knights of Lastwall are?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not, but I can look it up.
For a brief answer to everyone, the Knights of Lastwall were effectively the ones in charge of watching the Whispering Tyrant's prison. When he broke free, their main base, the city of Vigil, fell recently, and they've effectively been sort of exiled. The Knights of Lastwall, though, have long been at odds with the orcs of Belkzen, because the orcs were at one point members of the Whispering Tyrant's army.
Wasn't exactly our wish.
Yeah,
It was at first, and you can't argue with that point.
Yeah, at first, yeah.
It is nice to see though, like there's a prejudiceness that at least will bring somebody here to assist.
Yes.
That it's not in the way.
Yes, it is likely gratifying to see that at least a member of the Knights of Lastwall is here and willing to engage in this. As you go to set up your tent, we have two more individuals who are both arriving around the same time. This is a bit afternoon, probably around 2 to 3 at this point in the day that you all are beginning to arrive. Some of the last few individuals to make it to the gathering of Torrentmoot, as most people arrived here in the last day or so. But Galasha, no artwork for your character at the moment. Eternal shame upon you. But would you please describe your character? As I'm going to show everyone the
sure.
icon anyways.
She looks just like that. No, Galasha is a female half-orc, I guess. Looks to be like a somewhat young adult, of probably average stature for a half-orc, but doesn't look particularly muscular or anything, but it's hard to tell because she's wearing leather armor as well as a fair amount of kind of pale colored robes that appear kind of dusty on the hem from the climate and kind of reddish from like the clay or sand. And she also has a small set of kind of drums like attached to her back and a couple other instruments like what looks like a war horn and like some kind of flute as well, made out of bone. And she has kind of like a normal backpack and bedroll, but doesn't appear to have a pack large enough for a tent with her.
All right. As you make your way into this gathering, you can see the vast number of people, the dozens who are here to participate in this meeting, many of which, as has been said, who are already conversing with one another, wrestling, drinking. Is there anywhere in particular you would go to sort of set your stuff down for camp? You do recognize a series of communal tents. There's also just open space that you are free to take up, even if you do not have a tent for it.
She would probably go towards what it looks like our communal tents and see if there are any that are unoccupied or who are already in them, to try to find a tent.
Absolutely. The communal tents are not tents for individual people, by the way. These are tents you will be
Yeah.
sharing.
I mean, I figured.
Sharing is caring in Belkzen. What?
So true.
All right. As you make your way over, you see another figure who seems to have just arrived, perhaps only a few minutes before you. You might have even seen them on the road as you were making your way here, who is also sort of taking a bit of a look around and setting their stuff down, right around the same area you are setting your stuff down. They look, what I believe, Rog, mildly unapproachable might be a good term for you at the moment.
Yeah.
So, approach them if you wish, but you do not have to.
Oh, Caesar.
He looks more busy than he probably is. Like, he's,
I guess she'll probably approach him and just hold out a hand for a handshake and say, Galasha of the Drowning Sand Tribe.
He pauses for like a half a second, just enough to know that like he paused. But he's a Rog in the stormwater. What brings you here?
Well, as with many others, here on behalf of my hold, here to make an impression, meet new people, and hope to collaborate with everyone and, prove to, to be frank, prove to our chief that it can be done at all.
Yeah, I think we're fortunate. We don't see something like this happen very often, especially after everything that's happened. I think there's a lot of responsibility weighing on everyone in this camp to make sure that this happens, and we have a bright future ahead of us. This starts here. Starts today.
Glad to meet someone else as optimistic as I about this. And
Yes.
is that wait, did he say like where he is from? I don't or was the name just like a title or last name?
When you say Storm Order, Rog, are you talking about just perhaps a smaller horde, or are you specifically part of the Storm Screamers at Rule?
The an isolated, far out keep, but from the actual Stormwater Druid. So
Okay.
the order had let me come here to help with everything that's going on.
Okay, so okay. Sorry, that was just above table because I didn't know if Glosha would know like what that refers to. But I guess she would probably know about that
Yeah.
hold, right? Yeah.
Yes. The Storm Screamers are very well known for having a number of druids and hunters and guides of the region among their numbers. They are from the sort of southwestern mountains, if I recall properly, in the area.
Okay.
So I quickly Google a map to find out for certain. All right. But as the two of you are sort of finishing up, settling in, we have one final individual arriving. And I'm sorry, did I catch that earlier? You said you did not particularly wish to be here?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, Drawn, as our final member of this last individuals to arrive, would you please describe your character?
So he's a bit older than most orcs, definitely, and has scars, and not the scars from like the ritual scars from that one hold, but definitely of battle. And while he walks up, you see in a circle around him a bits of motes of this molten, just lava or fire, kind of just in the air, kind of just going around. It's not lighting anything or doing anything, but it just is. And as he comes up, he takes a hand and swipes it down, and it goes away. And he walks up rather dourly. He looks around and sees someone from the empty hand here. Goes,
Another
"Shaman,
one come to drink with us.
Oh yeah.
why am I here, Shaman? Why have they called this? There's undead to be slain."
One that is ready to fight. Got a lot of gumption, this one.
And
If you want to know why, we should ask the bones. And I'll reach in a pocket and pull out some bones, and I'll shake them up and I'll throw them out.
I don't care about your damn bones.
Maybe
get this
you
over
do,
with.
maybe you don't, but the bones do not lie.
Even your
They
magic.
say
And
you
he'll
are
just
here
storm
for
off.
a reason. Ah,
Duel will turn to
Crazy
Crow
one.
and just be like, that one.
that one that one is fiery for sure.
He is. But what he says about the undead is correct. They need to be put back into the
This is
ether.
not a lie.
But
And
tell
he'll
me,
look for a
Crow, what
place
did
to
the bones say?
The bones say that there is danger afoot. Whether we want it or not, we will be challenged with it. But it is unclear what will happen. What I do know is the bones say we must work together in order to survive.
Drawn, what was that?
He's gonna storm off looking for a place to set up his sleeping bag.
Sure.
as he looks around, he sees the Knights of Last Wall, and I'm assuming the Death Hands have I'm assuming begrudging respect for the Last Wall.
I would probably agree specifically. Let me check my notes real quick. They're all over the place. I have influence stat blocks galore. Yeah, especially with Death's Hand being sort of a extension of the Empty Hand. There is definitely the sort of ancient grudges between your two factions, but there is still a respect. How aware you would be of those... Actually, go ahead and give me a recall knowledge roll. That's what dice are for.
Sure.
First recall knowledge.
The second recall
Second.
knowledge. Pay attention.
Second.
No, he failed his first recall knowledge to see if there was a first recall knowledge.
True.
You don't have much interaction with the rest of the outside world, so you would probably hope that the Knights don't hate you guys as much anymore because of the refusal to join the Whispering Tyrant with his resurrection, but you don't know for certain.
Okay.
You would also know for certain you are not the only member of the Death's Head here. Death's Head or Death's Hand? There's like two.
It's head, actually. I just wrote hand.
Because there is Death's Hand and Death's Head.
I think it's Death's
Death's Head is the one that
Yeah.
is an extension of the Empty Hand.
Yeah, it's Death's Head and Empty Hand. Death's Head is the
Yes.
extension of Empty.
Yeah.
There is
Death's
also
Head
a
is
Death's
what I wanna be
Hand
from.
that is a different hold.
Death's Hand is the more religious
wow.
one. Is that wrong?
No, that's
No, it's
correct.
Empty
The
Hand
bard.
is the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Death's Hand, I
Anyway.
believe, worships one of the recently fallen deities.
Oh.
So, again, there's Death's Hand, which we don't care about. And then there's Death's Head and Empty Hand. They're all so fucking similar. Gonna have
Anyway,
an
yeah,
aneurysm
part
in
of-
this game.
A part of the Death's Head,
Yes.
Death's Head, the ones that are allied with the Empty Hand, but mostly act as like a guardian, and he's been off defending towards the where the undead are,
Yeah.
picking off and hunting
You would
them.
recognize two members of your hold then, who have arrived and already set up camp. Down here a bit south, there is Lakon, who is a metal worker of your hold, and there is Tushki, who is one of the merchants of your hold. And they brought a few laborers with them as well, but they seem to have already finished setting up camp, and they look over and notice as you approach and both sort of nod in your direction.
Khan, is this not silly for us to be here? Should we not be defending the lands?
Well, perhaps that's your view on it. I'm, of course, more so just here to see what others have been cooking up, see if there's any techniques that can be shared. But
I assume if it betters the hold, it betters us as a whole.
yes, after all, we may be able to find some things that will be more beneficial to taking care of those we're defending against. But, to be honest, there is also that morbid curiosity to see if what Ardax is cooking up will work out.
In the end of the day, the undead are our main enemy. It's only a matter of time before everyone realizes that what they must do.
Lashki will sort of look over and pipe up. Tashki, not Lashki. Goddamn, I already suck at names. Yes, John, they are the great evil that we have to deal with, but you know how well we'll do if we're the only ones going after it. Finding allies isn't the worst idea, especially if we can find some who don't belong to this nation. No, less risk of internal conflicts that way.
As long as they're helpful on the battlefield and brave as...
As long as they're helpful. And capable of spending coin.
You always talking about coin.
Well,
Fine.
I'm sorry, do you want us to go broke?
I'll let you worry about that.
Goodness. She goes back to flipping through some documents. You can see, like, through one of the tent flaps, the supplies that were brought for specifically sale or trade. She seems to be just inventorying things on the side.
Alright, I'll just start getting ready to, get my stuff ready.
Are you setting up with us?
Might as well.
Fine. And you see a couple of the other members of your hold who I don't have names for. The distinguished token name of Laborer, who you would recognize and would be willing to help you set up your tent.
So unprepared, jeez.
Do you see how many tokens I have on this map? I only have so many names. I've got laborers, I've got staff, I've got guards.
So when you break out the Bill, Bob, Billy,
Yeah, hold up. Let me
Gene-
pull up fantasy name generators.
I've had so many Bobs.
Greg.
Bob 1, Bob 2,
Okay.
Bob 3.
Yeah.
They're all Greg with just an increasing number of G's at the end.
There's Bobby. There's Rob. There's Robbie. There's.
Naming is not my forte, okay?
Yeah,
Don't
there's
judge
a,
me.
total of 38 tokens on this map.
Yeah.
You
Do we
need
have,
help.
Is there any
And
chance
you are
we can get...
incorrect because there is 1 in Ardax's 10.
Ah,
fucked.
got him.
Excuse me, 39!
You should
Is there any way we can reveal the names on the ones that we're supposed to remember?
I suppose I could do that. Yeah, I can go ahead.
That we
and
don't
do
have to
an-
keep asking you.
I can do an always for everyone on some of the important figures as you guys meet them.
Oh, are you gonna add Guru to the bestiary?
No, he's a familiar. Not an
What about
enemy.
Orc? Are you adding Orc?
No,
Orc.
not until we become enemies. That's right, I
Is
said
that where
until.
Is that where my future summons will go to?
Oh, you're
First
gonna be
summon.
summoning things?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
no.
gonna keep it
Oh,
light,
that.
boy.
but I will be.
Oh boy.
Why do you
Just
hate
use the
me
summoner
so?
module.
I
There's
hate
a
summoning.
module for that.
It's
I have
I
nothing
care more
prepared
so
yet.
just about the number of tokens on the board.
You
There's
have
6
like
PCs and a familiar.
Hey,
you have like
Jericho.
60 right now, so it's fine.
Can
Yeah,
I
I
have a journal?
Yeah,
I
you
can
can
use a
apparently
journal.
manage it, so I don't feel as bad now, actually.
Yeah, hey Jericho.
What?
Protector tree.
If you use Protector Tree, I'm killing your character instantly.
No, someone in this party has protector tree. I saw it.
I do.
Oh, technically I do.
I hate all of you.
It's a spell though. It's not the kineticist one, so it's not
Hey,
that bad.
The
Yeah,
thing
it's not
is,
as good as
Yeah, the
that.
thing is I have it because of one of my spirits. It's not actually one I plan
Yeah.
on using a lot.
They just can't plan a forest in one day.
I will make sure I go get my stupid Protector Tree token set up. God, there's so much shit.
In my Wednesday game, Protected Tree comes out a lot.
I'm so sorry for your GM. Share with
Hey,
them my
the
condolences.
token is out just all the time. It's just nonstop out.
Yeah, but I just move the token around with me all the time because I never know when I need it.
Yeah. Once I typically, when it comes to summons Protector Tree, once I know what it is you're primarily going to be doing, I will just have the tokens and everything set up for you in advance. Because
I'll
I
let you
do
know
things the
when I
hard way.
pull it. I'll let you know before I pick the spells and set them up.
Sounds good. And let me go ahead and
It's okay. They'll make macros for kineticist one day.
one day. You guys should all have, there should be a journal entry now called Party Journal and an individual notes tab
Yes.
for everyone there that you all can make use of. For those few of you who like to take notes. And, oh look, we just got Galasha art. Hot dog.
Yay.
Let me get that
Where's the
uploaded
dog
real quick.
Oh, there it is.
We can't upload like
I don't trust you
character art,
all.
Gotcha. Oh, wait, that makes sense, I guess.
I have no faith.
It has to be vetted.
I should-
Okay.
Oh, also, it gives us access to his computer, so
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
I
big
guess it
issue
is
there.
on the server, yeah.
I am not a trusting individual, let's say.
What? I can't upload a corrupted file with the virus in it?
No,
Whatever.
believe it or not. All right, and drumroll please, Glasha artwork. Thank you all for sending me to her.
Nice.
I'm so proud of you.
Nice.
All right. Well, as you all finish up, not even begin, but finish up setting your items and equipment down, making sure you are prepared to enjoy this time that you're here. Does anyone have anything they would like to do prior to sort of the welcome ceremony, I suppose, when evening arrives?
Well, Zool would walk around, the entire camp, do like a perimeter walk. Would he notice the Knights of Last Wall during a perimeter walk?
Yeah, there is one Knight of Last Wall, and they're out in the open. They're keeping to themselves a bit more, but they are interacting with people who come up to them.
Zool would want to speak with the Knight. That's the female elf, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, Zool would like to speak with her. Once he sees her and sees the very prominent symbol of Sarenrae, he would try to convince Crow and Guru to come with him.
Yeah. As you
Crow will go.
As you make your way over in that direction, they're sort of set up right by the community tent, and they're different from the rest. These tents are not made out of the regular aurochs hide, but are made from white and gold striped fabric. Their pennants sort of flapping and snapping in the wind, and are sort of in their own small circle around a campfire, where there are several, God, I can't speak at all. A few armor-clad individuals, all sort of performing upkeep on their armor and other equipment, primarily symbols of Iomedae and Sarenrae on their armor and cloaks and pendants. But one of them is sort of closer to the rest of the main camp, who's keeping an eye on the general situation, and seeing the two of you walk over, this elf will step forward. Oh, hello, fellow Torrentmooters.
Hello.
Oh, welcome.
Oh, thank you.
I am crow hungry.
Zool. Thraka.
She clenches a fist at her chest and makes a formal bow. My name is Kestrel, Knight of Last Wall.
I have been waiting to meet a Knight of Last Wall. I have a very burning question for you.
By all means.
I mean, aside from the noble goal that you all serve, I've been very curious about one of your weapons that you developed when you fought the hordes of the Tyrant.
Oh?
The bladed gauntlet.
Interestingly enough, you note that none of the knights here have plated gauntlets, but she does nod in recognition and smile lightly at mention of it. A fine weapon indeed. Not a personal preference of mine or my compatriots, but definitely helpful when you have to deal with some hordes.
Yes, disgusting abominations and a spit on the ground that they are. You wouldn't happen to, by chance, have one that you'd be willing to part with, would you?
I don't have any. I can check. I'd certainly be happy to make a trade or a sale if you are interested, and I have one. I'll need some time to see if anyone actually has one, but I'd be happy to check.
Yes, please. I've been dying to get my hands on one.
What weapon specifically are you looking for?
It's the bladed gauntlets. It's the
Bladed
uncommon.
gauntlet. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll absolutely take some time and ask around to see if anyone has one that they would have and be willing to part with. Do you have the coin for it?
I do.
All right.
Yes.
Well, definitely come back, check with her in a little bit, and she'll let you know if she has one.
Okay. And I'll turn to Crow and kind of like nudge him and be like, "You've got to see this thing. It's awesome.
I'm most interested to see what this is.
You can bludgeon, slice, and stab all with one hand."
It just covers your hand and gives you these more options,
It does.
and I can still wrestle.
Yeah, above table, it has the free hand trait, so you can still grapple, trip, shove, and all that with one.
Sounds interesting.
I'm concerned. All right. Anyone else have anyone they would like to talk to? Things they would like to do before the evening comes? I'm sorry?
I wanted to go check out these two people that were very finely dressed, which are
Absolutely.
definitely not normal.
Yeah. And are you from out of the region of Belkzen?
Yes.
Okay, then
I have made my way from Cheliax.
Fantastic. Go ahead and give me a recon knowledge, because you might recognize their organization.
Plot twist, there's Asmodeans among us.
I wouldn't tell anyone if
Oh,
that were the
boy.
case. Okay. You do recognize this merchant organization. You would have passed through their primary operating region on your way up from Cheliax, the Golden Wheel Trading Company, primarily based out of Nermathis. But the two figures you see before you, a female human and a male human, the two of them. One of them dressed in merchant finery, the male. The female dressed in more of a trade worker's garb, a heavy leather apron, more working clothes than the livery of a wealthy merchant.
Okay.
And they will absolutely take notice as you approach, the male sort of being the one to step forward first, a smile brightening up his face. Oh, hello there, friend. Welcome to humble little living space for the foreseeable future.
Hello. I fancy seeing quite the garb, and I kind of like nod up and down at his very fine clothing.
Look at this artwork. This is fantastic.
There is so much.
He wants to sell you everything.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy who's already put stuff in your hand the moment you arrived.
Like he says,
Oh, no.
"Hello there, stranger," as he opens up his robe and says, "See anything you're interested in?"
What are you, boy?
Welcome.
He somehow managed to pull a table out of nowhere and set up like a nice cloth and 10 different goods on it already. Only the
Are you
finest.
looking for a
of
watch?
I kind of look at it. I'm like, so what brings you to this area? Definitely.
Well,
I'm surprised to see others that are not from the local region.
good eye for recognizing locale. Yes, well, my wife and I are interested in seeing if we can't set up some new trade routes heading a bit further north. After all, it's not like there's much to lose if things go south, but oh, so much to gain if it goes well.
Understandable. I guess I can fault you on that.
Where are my manners? Of course, Aryan Prent at your service.
A pleasure, Gwyn.
And the woman will speak up behind. Korai, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure as well. Well, I figured I'd come over and see what exactly you had for sale.
Yeah. How obvious is your equipment as sort of mining equipment, Gwen?
Very.
Very.
It looks more ramshackled, put together than anything else.
Sure.
But still very sturdy.
Yeah. Korai has a bit of a glint in her eye. Forgive me for asking. You wouldn't happen to have a penchant for working underground, would you? Inside of a mountain, digging up things.
I was a miner, yes.
Fantastic. You wouldn't happen to have any profits, any jewels you might have picked up?
Unfortunately not. It's not something able to keep my person.
A pity. Well,
Employers were not.
fair enough.
There's a very, very heavy sarcasm on employers.
Oh, yeah. She definitely catches it and chooses to gloss over it. Well, should you come across any fine jewels that you can keep hold of, I'd be happy to turn them into any manner of accessory you wish. Something to tie your outfit together.
I kind of like cock an eyebrow at the outfit part, and I'm like, I'll keep it in mind. Always happy.
Sorry for her. She gets very work-focused when it comes to jewelry. She is one of the best jewelers in our organization, if I'm being just a little boastful.
It's never bad to be boastful. Things you.
But you said you were over to look what we have for sale. Liveries, various supplies, of course. We did know that this is a festival for hunting and preparing for the year, so we have brought a number of drinks and fine dining supplements to see if anyone was interested in them. But we also have some more of the base supplies that might be in need of some. A few enchanted items as well, if you're looking for anything in particular.
Oh. It's good to keep in. I'm light on coin for now, but maybe in the future.
Well, if there's one thing I can bet on, it's that the folks here are a betting lot. So, any coin comes into your pockets, feel free to stop on by.
Well, pleasure meeting the book.
A pleasure meeting you as well. All right. Let's see. Dron, Glasha, Rog, anyone the three of you would like to interact with in particular? Or would you like to just have... Oh, yes. Okay, fantastic. Who are we going to talk to?
I would like to ask Toshki here. Toshki, who... Should I be aware of anyone here that could pose a threat? Maybe I should go talk to someone. You know other people better than I.
Of course I do. If you're looking for those who might be not on the up and up, I'd be calm about, very obvious air quote, talking to people here. Keep an eye out, perhaps, but she nods over towards where the hobgoblins are. Soldiers from Opric. Not entirely sure what they are here for, or if they are planning anything further, but always keep an eye out for those who come prepared for war, it seems. Past that, you actually might get along with them. Grothlin, over there. Member of the Gutspear Hold. Not the most diplomatic type. Probably Well, one of the people more likely to get their anger. Let that get the better of them, so keep an eye on them.
I don't know why you say I would get along with them, but alright.
Violence in your blood. Let's just say that,
I think fire's a better term, but sure.
I don't know if fire's in their blood, but... she realizes she's not getting anywhere. She's gonna shut up.
I'll go over.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
I was just gonna say, you would know based off of how she's pointed out, Grothlin is a barbarian themselves.
Ah.
And a more berserker type of barbarian.
Ooh.
But
Hail, worthy warrior.
She just raises an eyebrow as you approach. She, tall, muscular orc woman. She has a splitting maul that she is in the middle of chopping logs with as you approach. There's a jumbled pile of already split logs near her. As you walk over and hail, she doesn't say anything for a moment. She doesn't respond, but just keeps chopping logs.
I've come over to ask what your opinion of this meeting is. I am from the Empty Hand hold. I was wondering if there was any other worthy warriors among this lot.
Her head raises slightly as you mention other worthy warriors. She stares you dead in the eye for a couple moments before just nodding over at the pile of wood. Are you going to help?
I suppose I can. I'll start chopping or picking up.
Chopping. Are you trained in survival?
I am.
Yeah, you can absolutely sort of chop wood with her as you talk. Go ahead and give me either an athletics or survival check here.
I'll go with that good old athletics.
All right. That is an exact success before you waste a hero point on it, unless you want to go for a crit success.
No, I'm good.
Fair enough. All right. Yeah, you keep up with her pace without much issue. I keep forgetting I have actual artwork I can show you guys for these people. Huzzah, Grothlin. But after a couple minutes pass, you guys, in relative quiet, get through the majority of these pile of wood as she just doesn't particularly respond to you as she's chopping. But she'll sort of eventually drop the hatchet and wipe her hands off. Well, thanks for that. What was your question again, and who were you?
My name is Drahan Flameblade. I'm with the Empty Hand. And I was looking for other warriors that might be... Empty Hand. Death's Head! Oh my god!
We all suck at this.
Yeah. Death's Head. I was looking to see what your opinion of this meeting was, and if there was any other worthy warriors around.
Grothlin, member of the Gutspear Hold. Worthy warriors, there are some of, I'd say. But if you were looking for one, you found the right person.
I can see about your stamina with the cutting wood that you indeed could be formidable on the battlefield, and I've already heard from some of my own that that is indeed the case.
Well, are you looking for recommendations on other worthy warriors, or are you just sizing me up?
Maybe a little of both, and maybe I'm just bored.
I've got more wood to chop if you're bored. She just sort of gestures at the pile.
I will have to pass at this point. I want to go see and make sure that things are peaceful and will remain so. And if not, who will be causing an issue, and who might be good to watch my back?
Go ahead and go ahead and give me one more athletics check with a +1 circumstance bonus, if you don't mind.
Sure. Oh, sorry. Ignore that. I hit
Shame.
shift.
Shame!
Shame!
That actually works. Okay, never mind.
Okay, I'll take. No. You can go take the 21. I won't
Yeah.
complain.
22 with the +1 bonus.
Ooh.
As you've definitely left a bit of an impression on her. Grothlin here is absolutely an individual you all will be able to take time to influence over the coming event, and by helping out with those logs and kind of blatantly sizing her up, certainly managed to impress her enough that you've gotten her attention. Anyone who wishes to, at this point, may give me a recall knowledge check to see what you know about the Gut Spear hold, which is what Grothlin is from, and notably the only individual from the Gut Spear hold. You rolled as Guru Crow.
Any of us?
Yeah, anyone who
Not
wishes
bad.
to may. Rolling as
tries
Guru
to
was
figure it out.
hilarious because it left all of
Yeah.
your proficiencies as undefined. I've not seen that before.
Well, technically, I had them both selected, but yeah.
Ah. All right, God, I have too many people. I need to kill off some characters. Let's see. Oh, people with orc lore, my goodness. Badlands lore. Okay. Let's go with Gwyn and Drahan and Crow. The three of you know about the Gut Spear hold. They are cave dwellers in the southwestern Kadar Mountains. They are very much a raider hold. They are not one of the... They would be classified under the holds that are against what Ardax is trying to accomplish. As they still very much hold to that raider lifestyle, sort of embodying the stereotypes about orcs.
Well, shit.
From your conversation, though, Drahan, she definitely seemed standoffish. But she didn't necessarily come across as unfriendly.
Okay.
Well, if she's here, then that means they're willing to listen.
Or they need something.
Yeah. But that's possibly willing to negotiate.
Right. And last but not least, Rog and or Galasha. Was there anything either of you two would like to try and accomplish? People you'd like to try and speak with before...
I think Rog's gonna see if anyone else from the Storm Screamers is around.
Mhm.
I think probably not, because no one really wanted to send anyone here. He kind of had to volunteer himself.
That is correct, yeah.
So, and then if he doesn't see anyone from Storm Screamers, he wants to see if anyone else that is in tune and communes with the elements like he does around. Any other druids or anyone else with elements?
Go ahead and give me your choice of perception or nature check. Very nice. Okay. Taking a look around, trying to see if there's anyone else here who might be as in tune with the elements as you are. You catch almost no one. The only figure you do catch would actually be Drahan, a figure who, another orc as well, You are orc.
Yeah, I think he stood out immediately when you walked past
Yeah.
me. I think I saw like a fire, that fire coming past me. I knew what that was.
Yep. They would be the person closest attuned to the sort of apocryphal elemental planes, or just even nature itself. You don't see anyone else that you would immediately classify as being druidic in nature.
Actually, it's still helpful for me because it lets me know where I stand in regards to responsibility.
Yeah.
If certain shit goes down.
Yep.
So that's at least helpful. Yeah, I think he just kind of takes everyone else in.
Sure. Just spend some time watching.
Yeah, he's a good people watcher. He's got good perception.
All right. We love wisdom characters.
Yes.
Glasha, anyone for you in particular? Or anything?
I assume similar to the Storm Screamers, no one else from the Drowning Sand hold is here.
That is correct. The main other hold that has direct representatives here and isn't just doing their own little hold gathering is the Bloodied Gauntlet. Has
Okay.
a small entourage here.
Okay.
And, the Bloodied Gauntlet are... Those are the worshippers of Gorum. Oops. No god for them. They would be the Bloodied Gauntlet is the hold that has the closest connection to the Knights of Lastwall. Probably followed by Death's Head.
And they're now. That's what the Gravelands is now.
Yeah, the Gravelands is where the Knights of Lastwall used to be.
Right. After this whole big calamity situation happened, or was it before that?
Before. So the Gravelands came about after the Whispering Tyrant broke free, which was, I want to say, about 5 years ago in lore at this point. I think it was either 4719 or 4722. I'd have to check my calendars. But it has been a few years since he broke free, since he destroyed the vast majority of the Knights of Lastwall, and they effectively became refugees around the land. The War of Immortals with Gorham's death happened 2 months ago. That is extremely fresh and recent. The war itself is still effectively ongoing, but Gorham himself died, 60 days ago. So, Bloodied Gauntlet, not in a great spot right now.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Glasha will just after it seems like after her and after she sees that Rog has finished like setting his stuff down or anything, she will just ask him, "Do you play at all?" and gesture to her set of drums and her flute that she's carrying.
No, I've never picked it up, but I do like listening. It's probably the only thing pastime that I have is sitting around listening, but I've never picked up the instrument before.
Would you like to try? And she will hand you the flute that she's carrying.
Yeah, there's nothing else. Until they call us, sure. I have nothing else going on at the moment. Just waiting, like most of everyone else. So I'm happy to try.
Well, she'll sit by this fire here, if there's anyone else there, and play some small tunes on her drums and maybe try to teach Rog how to play along on this flute. Or actually, maybe the other way around. A drum might be easier to play.
Yeah. He looks at the flute and he's like, he tries to switch it with you. He's like, I don't know. But yeah,
Okay.
that he appreciates the drum.
And she will just try to play a nice, cheerful tune.
Yeah, if the two of you want to go ahead and give me a performance check to see how well you managed to do here.
It makes sense that I'm untrained.
Glasha is the only trained member in the party, which also makes sense.
Yeah, not surprising.
Performance is a dump skill for most people, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Is even fascinating.
Usually
He's a natural.
Yeah,
I'll do
look
the
at that.
acrobatics. Usually I do acrobatics performer, but I forgot.
Well, and fascination, the main condition that performance is able to bring about, is just so bad.
Yeah.
How did they not give us a better fascination in the remaster? Come on, Paizo.
Come on.
You know, you
Probably
were a good teacher for hitting the drum. I think it's normal. Like some of our elemental, when we summon elements, we somebody hits a drum. Usually not me, but I think I catch on quick to that.
Yeah. As the two of you sit down and begin performing, Galasha, you walk Rog through the just basic steps of playing the drums, how to keep a tune. Rog, the performances that your hold does so frequently with nature definitely includes tunes, so it's easy to keep track of for you and join into the beat.
We're usually smoking though, so
Well,
I'm
yeah.
missing the play component, but it's I got half of it.
That makes you play better. What do you mean?
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm surprised actually.
Before long, a few other individuals from the common area sort of stop on over, will pull out a small instrument of their own, primarily flutes and drums, the easier to craft equipment. The flutes themselves are pretty much all exclusively made out of bone, the drums out of wood and the hide of aurochs. The influence of aurochs on the lives of the orcs of Belkzen is insanely obvious. But before long, you all have a small bit of music that is quite pleasant to hear and is sort of cutting through the conversation and the laughter and cheers of people all around the hold. And all of you are able to listen in to this small group of performers who have started performing sort of in preparation as the sun begins to set. Tables are laid out with food, all sort of surrounding the central campfire.
I think Rog thinks he's starting to realize he's pretty good, so I think he's gonna save up, try to save up and buy one in the future. But he's not gonna tell anybody. He's gonna act too cool for it.
All right. As the night begins to fall, sun sets, the multiple campfires around the campsite. I can't fucking speak, my gods. All sort of lighting up and keeping the area almost as bright as it was during the day. Few pockets of shadow around tent edges where the light doesn't quite reach remind you that it is night. The sky above clear of clouds and revealing the tapestry of stars above. Many of the benches get turned into small tables, people sitting on the ground as a number of the hunters who have been out the last few days return with some prey and begin grilling it over the central campfire before setting it out on large platters around these benches. People begin to fill up small plates. Most people brought their own dishes. If you didn't, sucks to be you. Burn your hands like the rest of the people who didn't. But people
Why
all...
you need scars on your hand?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Makes your hands stronger.
Jarhan, you're able to cook your own food. You just pick it up and look, it's cooked.
I am my own hot plate.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
As people sort of begin to sit around and eat, the conversation dies down as out of the largest and most central tent, a figure steps out. Most of you have heard of this individual. I think Crow might be the only person, maybe Drahan, who potentially would have seen or even spoken with Ardax personally. But a heavily muscled, though lean, white-haired orc wearing a well-made coat of aurochs leather and bone steps out of the central tent and jumps onto one of the split log benches. Welcome, friends, to Torrentmoot. For those of you who I have not met personally, I go by Ardax. It pleases me greatly to see you all could make it to this event and follow with my invitation. For those of you unaware of the exact situation, you have arrived during the Flood Truce, a time of plenty. The many holds that make up our glorious nation agree to peace with one another during this time, and soon the floods will come. When they do, the roadway to our west becomes a river. The quickened plants along the shore sprout, and the hordes of aurochs follow. To be honest, I'm jealous of those of you who will be seeing it for the first time. It's an experience you won't soon forget. And a number of sort of orcs around the area all sort of nod in agreement at that. For those of you who have seen it before, it is one of the most beautiful sights you've seen when the waters come rushing down and flood the plains. The plants grow at truly a magical rate. It isn't a natural cycle of growth. They spring up in a matter of days at minimum, and the aurochs very quickly arrive. But that's still weeks away. Until then, I only have one request of you. Respect the truce. Get to know others in the camp. Some of you have traveled quite far to be here. Others have lived here their whole lives. If you're willing to look, then you might just find allies. Make friends. Create fruitful alliances. But for now, enjoy our hospitality. Before he leaps off the log and immediately walks over towards one of the small clusters of individuals who are eating and begins speaking with them. And
I say, cheers!
Food is passed out, music begins to play from some individuals who are also playing music, and the rest of you, I think I would imagine that perhaps the six of you have somehow ended up in a circle with one another. Food on your plates or in your hands, or perhaps hell, even in your mouths at this point. But some of you who have met each other already throughout the day, some of you who have only seen one another, find yourselves... I suppose you're sitting directly around the central campfire. Sure, take up all the heat from everyone else.
Hey.
Selfish.
Yeah.
They're welcome to come join.
Yeah, the crowd in.
The floor is yours if you all have anything you would like to speak to one another on.
It is good to see so many come to this event. This means we should have a bright future.
Yes, I feel fortunate to be here.
For me, this is a path to perfection.
As long as it allows us to fight against the Tyrant King, I do not care much.
This is the path to us to fight the Tyrant King together.
Well, the sooner that wretch is sent into the ground never to return, the more the rest of us can sleep peacefully at night.
He's been sent to the ground before. The never return part, that's the more difficult part.
I'll drink to that.
Fire will be the method through which he perishes for good.
I
Fire
might be
and
able to
steel.
assist.
Oh?
He'll activate his aura and start playing around with a little bit of fire.
Now that, my friend, is awesome.
Fire is a friend of to one of my spirits as well.
Well, since we're on this train, and then Zul will pull out a crudely made wooden amulet and hold it up. It looks like a sword of some kind. It's obvious that he made this and his skills at woodworking are poor at the moment. But it looks like a curved blade with little wisps coming off of it that he will proudly say are flames. The matron of
Of
right
course.
The matron of rights has also gifted me with fire.
You strange one with the armor. Where are you from?
I'm from Sheliax, but we've made
For such a place, it is pretty far from here, is it not?
quite a ways, but the further away from that place,
What?
Figure out what the heck I know about Cheliax.
Sure. Recall knowledge.
Zul will ask, I've never been to Cheliax. Why do you say that the further away from it, the better?
an awful place. People, very similar to those who willingly and happily follow Torbe. Not
sorry, I
my
didn't-
place, and a place I never wish to return.
I didn't catch the last part of your first sentence.
Shit.
Followers of who?
Just a place where people similar to those who willingly worship and follow Tar-Baphon would be. Not that they do, but similar type of people.
Ah. Those similar to the tyrant. Do they too need to be cleansed in flame?
Oh, I wish I could. And I will move my spark in this situation to the hammer. So a bit of my appearance kind of like becomes more plain, but the hammer does start to almost like emit like a white yellow flame from it because it's vitality.
Could I do a recall knowledge on the hammer specifically, Jericho, to suss that out?
I'm going to say, just in general, you don't know what's causing that. Actually, I will allow a recall knowledge. Why not? And while you're doing that, Jahan, you actually don't know much about Cheliax.
Okay.
You have heard tales of the fact that their leadership has some sort of pact with the devil himself, Asmodeus. You've never had any proof of that given. You've only really heard of it through rumors. But you haven't heard good things about that place before. Zul, you have seen something similar to this before. Mainly because it's recent. 2 months ago, there was a rainfall. Most of you saw, most of you witnessed, most of you avoided. Because the rain that fell was red, heavy, it was blood. And not the blood of a mortal, but the blood of a god. The ramifications of that blood are pretty much entirely unknown still. However, Zul, you have heard tale of individuals who did touch that blood, individuals who found themselves gaining power and able to move it throughout their body. Now, you can't say for certain whether Gwyn here was hit by that rain as well, but noting that sort of dip in his appearance and the immediate energy that sparks around his hammer, that is very similar to what you have seen before.
So,
This is a figure that is touched by the divine, and it is manifesting atop his weapon at the moment.
okay. So I'm able to recognize that the spark went from Gwen's person into the hammer.
Maybe not. It's more so that you recognized that there was a shift in appearance at the same time his weapon sparked. You don't necessarily know about divine sparks and icons, but
Okay.
you have seen similar effects in others who have been touched by the divine at this point, where aspects of them shift, typically two at the exact same time, and this looks very similar to that.
Okay. All right. Zool will look at the hammer, and his eyes will widen again as he has some recollection of what that might be. Blessed you are.
Blessing and a curse. But I do with it what I can.
Was it a curse, you say, friend? Was it this that made you leave your home?
No, the death of many I cared for, and the freedom I long desired. That is a tale for.
Ah, I'm sorry to have opened old wounds with my words.
They all smile and they just shrug. No harm done. I'm not one to keep secrets.
Well, my home, the Burning Sunhold, we, well, as I'm pretty sure you know from me, we love fire, fighting, and, proving who we are. Not for the sake of glory, but for the sake of becoming the best versions of ourselves. That is what our matron passed down to us before she ascended, and that is what we carry forward.
Well, goal.
Yeah, we like to think so. I was sent here with my commander, Gorza. Very brutal woman. Kind of scary sometimes, but she always does what she believes is right, and most of the time that is the right thing to do. But we're hoping to see if Ardax is true to his word that he's looking to bring something new to Belkzen. I hope he is. We could definitely use it. Especially with, as some of us have said here, the stirring of the tyrant. Actually, Jericho, is that lore accurate? Is Tar-Baphon actually stirring around on the Isle of Terror?
Tar-Baphon is free.
Okay, yeah, that's lore accurate, what I said. Yeah. What
Now,
about the rest of you?
He has suffered a recent setback, but he is still active. He is awake and active.
Okay.
The orcs were the one that gave him the setback, right?
That was a less recent setback, but it was a setback. The more recent setback was the recent attack that was enacted upon him that destroyed Erasni's lichdom and allowed her to ascend to full godhood. Which I'd have to actually check who was responsible for that attack. While you all roleplay, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Glasha will speak up and just say, I'm envious that you came here with allies. My the chief of my hold is not quite as optimistic, and I was the only one who volunteered to go. The rest of them don't seem to have much hope for cooperation here, although I believe it's possible.
Yes.
I'm in the same situation, actually. No one from my tribe thought it was worth its time to come, but maybe it's the younger generation who sees hope where the older generation has failed them, and that's why it's led us here. I guess we'll see how it goes, but I think we made the right decisions.
Exactly.
And,
Has anyone here spoken to Ardax himself? Quite an inspiring way to start this dinner.
I have not.
Fortunately, I've not had the luxury.
I have not had the ability to do so. Usually I'm in the wilds, hunting stray undead down.
In the
I've
thick of it.
met him briefly only though.
The Storm Screamers don't have much great things to say since he gave the hunting grounds away from us, but I want to see if what the elders say is true. I'm looking forward to having a conversation with him before this camp and this party disbands.
Yeah. Both the Storm Screamers and the Drowning Sand holds fall more under the sort of traditionalist style here. They don't necessarily ally with Ardax at the moment, but they aren't necessarily against what he's advocating for, like some of the other holds are.
Yeah, I read that he gave the hunting grounds near the Deadlands to the Sun group
Mm-hmm.
instead of to them, so they're kind of like
They're a little
probably
testy
annoyed
at the moment.
why they didn't come. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did just check my notes on it. We don't know exactly what Erasni did or who she allied with, but she recently allied with mortals and managed to trick Tar-Baphon into destroying the magic that was binding her to lichdom, which caused her ascension, and that happened about a month ago, to true godhood.
That must have pissed him off.
Probably.
There's a lot of things that fell into place a month ago that all happened.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Something else we must be wary of. This Torrentmoot. Obviously, we've all walked around. We've seen many people from many walks and ancestries of life have gathered. While, at least I hope everyone would like to have this happen peacefully, I'm being willing to bet that there are some who would see this as a prime opportunity to disrupt the negotiations.
Perhaps at best those from out of the region, maybe. I would imagine none of you would actually expect any of the direct orc holds to intervene, though, because this is the period of the flood truce, and that is a massive no. Like, disrupting the flood truce, full holds haven't done that before. Any individual who does so typically will face, at minimum, exile and ostracization from the rest of Belkzen.
Yeah, hierarchies is a big fucking deal.
Hierarchy's a massive thing here, so none of you should realistically have an expectation of at least any of the holds trying to interfere with Torrentmoot here. Even the ones that are against Ardax.
Yeah, Zul. He wasn't referring to the hold, he was referring to an outside influence.
Fair enough.
Because a unified Belkzen would present a unique change to the world board.
It's true. We have a lot of neighbors, and some of them I'm still not sure how friendly they are. So I'm a little weary of our neighbors as well. But that's why I think I'm so happy to see so many different people here. But at the same time, trying to be careful.
Yeah. Yes, we may have a few members that are the only members of their clan, but hopefully this will be a step forward for all of us to work together better.
Here, here. I raise my drink.
Aye.
I raise my flask and swig it.
Yes.
I-
Cheers.
If it allows me to kill more undead, I'll drink to that.
I'll drink to that too.
So will I. Takes another swig.
You have a drinking problem.
Roll fortitude.
Shut up, spirit.
No.
Oh, will he be voicing the spirit? That makes sense.
Apparently.
No one else heard anything. I just said that.
We just randomly hear, what was that?
And anytime I say something weird like that, I just think like everyone also heard it.
Oh no.
It's
Oh,
immediately
the
followed by
voices.
some snickering that no one else can hear.
Yeah.
Oh, you have one of those kind of spirits.
The Jericho special. Here to be a shitter. All
Ah.
right. Well, to give you guys a general idea of how Torrentmoot is going to play out, it's going to last about 3 weeks from this point forward. There are going to be a number of events that will occur, people that will seek you out, ask if you're willing to join them on things, to participate in various events. However, there are also a number of people you can speak with that you can try and influence. You can also just spend days earning income if you wish. But you do have about 3 weeks. Things are going to happen, but it is entirely up to you to decide what you would like to do, when you would like to do it, who you would like to interact with. As you've already met, Grothlin is one of the figures who has a direct influence stat block that you can attempt to speak to. There are others around camp that have an influence stat block. Kestrel would be one of them, the member of the Knights of Lastwall. So,
What
it is-
area are we gonna be going to? Or we're just waiting here for the event? And then-
So the event itself is Torrentmoot, and there will be things that happen during it. People will do things, people invite on things. A lot of groups of individuals are sort of going out on their own hunts, especially during this time as well. That's one of the main ways people are building camaraderie and meeting one another for the first time, is going out on hunts together.
That's why I was asking, because I want to scout the area more, become more familiar with
Yeah.
my surroundings and whatnot, and the nature in the area.
I will say, for above table purposes, the first event you all will be invited on is going to be people inviting you on a hunt. That will not occur tomorrow, though. You will have a day of free time before that event occurs.
Got it.
So-
All right, that helps.
Yep.
Okay.
And if you want to spend that time scouting the region, you are more than welcome to do so.
Yeah, I'll probably do the local, but I probably would spend half my time doing that, or 3/4 of it,
Sure.
and then the other part just getting to know more of the people in the area.
Jericho, is
No.
it? Okay.
Okay.
What's your question?
Well, have we reached a point where Zul could go back to Kestrel and see if one of her people has a bladed gauntlet they are willing to part with?
At this point, yes. A few hours have passed since the conversation. You'd absolutely be able to go over and check with her. And luckily for you, they did have a few bladed gauntlets that none of them were actively using, but they kept just in case with them. And if you would like to purchase one for 5 gold pieces, you are welcome to do so.
Yes, please. What was that? And when Zul gets the bladed gauntlet and he puts it on, he'll ask Kestrel, I know there's the blade in here. How do you activate it?
Well, that's relatively simple. It's not terribly difficult, but you'll notice as you put it on with the padding over your hand, there is, between your ring and middle fingers, a little bit of pressure there. Squeeze those two fingers together. That releases the blade.
I squeeze them.
A small metal blade comes protruding out of the gauntlet, almost nicking your fingers.
Nice. Excellent. I have heard tales of these weapons. I'm eager to try them out on those who deserve it. Then I'll squeeze the fingers again to retract the blade.
All right.
And to commemorate, and he'll pull out his flask. May I offer you a drink?
Why not?
And could I also use the activation of the flask and try to make an impression on her?
Flask of Fellowship, what a funny item. The moment anyone gets a Flask of Fellowship in a campaign, it's just instant, I'm going to start becoming drinking buddies with everyone. It's the Caden Kaleen item.
I will say the new archetype in the Tianxia book, the chef one.
Wandering chef.
So good.
Yeah. So
funny. Good. I love the ritual of get pissed drunk and lose one thing, and the first option on that list is your dignity.
Well, some people don't have much else to lose.
True.
You may absolutely, we'll go ahead and say you gain, this is an influence attempt for today, and you can use diplomacy with the Flask of Fellowship bonus.
Okay, let's get the effect on myself. All right. Diplomacy.
Yo.
Fantastic. Look at that. All right.
Please.
Taking some time after you sort of scatter from the group you were eating with and head back over to the Knights and Kestrel to see about the Bladed Gauntlet. You end up sort of joining their group, sharing a drink, sharing stories. They seem quite eager to actually talk about some of their previous battles. They mentioned that recently they actually came from Absalom, where they had been with the rest of their order, or at least a large chunk of it, and came north specifically to seek allies. And she will... you get along quite well with them. That's going to bring you guys to influence 2 with Kestrel right off the bat.
Nice.
So,
Apparently she's also an alcoholic. Jeez.
she is directly described as being quite a happy individual. A very cheerful, easy laugh, friendly attitude, easy to get along with. Someone who's pretty much the exact opposite of the regular sort of dour Knight of Lastwall archetype.
All right.
She put all her points into diplomacy, which is why they lost the Vigil fight. There's one elf who didn't put points into strength.
Zombie, let me convince you not to kill us!
Right. She did not learn that zombies inherently have the mindless trait.
We should learn eventually.
Maybe.
He tried to reason with a zombie and then a skeleton and then a ghoul.
Look, when your friends get killed right in front of you and then rise as undead, you hope there's a little something in there still.
Yeah.
You can reason with ghouls.
Not with zombies. Not with regular zombies, at least.
Yeah.
All right. Well, was there anything else people wanted to do tonight as you are eating your
What's
meal?
this group over here?
Those are guards. Specifically, warriors of the Empty Hand. I do not have names for them. They have guard as their token name, and I refuse to give them names.
This group?
Those are some of the scouts and hunters.
The skeleton hunters?
Scouts and hunters.
Oh.
scouts and hunters.
They're going to be the ones who invite you to go on a hunt with them.
And the folk over here.
Those are hobgoblins from Opric.
Oh,
Militaristic fucks.
Are you talking? These are hobgoblins too.
Yes,
too,
these
right?
are hobgoblins. Or sorry, were you pinging somewhere else? Am I an idiot?
Yeah, I was over here.
Well, way to call him an idiot.
Ah, those folks. No, I said I'm an idiot. Yes, those are the
disagreed.
folks from the Bloodied Gauntlet hold.
I'm gonna go talk to them.
Yeah. You guys, in general, would learn that the Bloodied Gauntlet sent one dignitary and a small entourage, Crick Erblin. Whoever at Paizo comes up with these names had a fucking blast, let me tell you.
True.
Yeah. Crick and her entourage of a few individuals were speaking actually with members of the Death's Head hold when they sort of separate from their meal as that comes to a close and begin heading back to their tent, and one of them sort of taps their leader on the shoulder seeing you approach. She turns, puts a smile on her face. Oh, well, hello there.
I bring a drink.
That's the best news I've heard all day.
I said I want to drink with our new friends.
By all means, I'd be happy to entertain you. Come, sit.
I do sit and I say, I am Crow Hunger. I am with the empty hand. And I am glad to see your clan here.
Crick Erblin. Bloodied Gauntlet. Yes. Glad to be here in the capacity that we can be.
Of course. And what goals do you have for this time? To strengthen our relationships together, I hope.
Hopefully. Hoping that Ardax can lead us to victory. Managed to win an important battle for us once, so seems to be a good candidate for leading us into future victories at this point.
Agree. As I drink.
They've got their own drinks. They'll drink alongside you.
That is good. And yeah, so I just kind of want to talk with them and get to know them a little bit better and try to build the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. If you wish to give me a diplomacy check, let's see. You wouldn't happen to have warfare lore right now, would you?
No, I don't have warfare lore.
That's okay. I would allow orc lore as well if you would prefer that.
I would prefer orc lore, yeah. I would definitely prefer orc lore.
Absolutely. Trigger my little influence on there. A 13. Definitely enough to sort of start building a relationship, drink with them, have a conversation with them, get to know them. Not enough to influence them in any meaningful way tonight, though.
It's alright. It's just an opener.
Yeah, a meeting. Just, you know, they've already had a number of drinks tonight, so their memories might not be the most clear come morning. But you make yourself known. They recognize you as a member of the Empty Hand, so inherently they're on good terms with you.
That is good.
I think Rogwood wants to go to Ardax just to introduce himself and that he's from Storm Screamers, that somebody did show up.
Absolutely.
Even with all the stuff going on, he wants his tribe to be looked on favorable, even if some people are being stubborn.
Yeah. As you know, you sort of either catch him as he's leaving one of the other groups, or even just as he's talking to some others, walk up to him. He probably inherently recognize it. Yeah, he does. He knows who you are. Surprisingly, maybe. But seeing you approach, he will break out into a smile and clap a hand on your shoulder. Rog, it's good to see that you could make it. I was worried that no one from your hold would actually show up today.
Thank you, Ardax. It's good to hear you say that. Some of the others are being stubborn, but in the end, they know that it's the right thing, and we want to support you. And I want to make sure that you see that the Storm Screamers are here to support this, and what we're doing is important.
Well, I appreciate that. Believe me, it wasn't my favorite choice to make. But I'm glad that some are willing to see past that and see that some decisions have to be made no matter what.
Yes, and I think also this situation here is more important than some of those decisions that may have made people feel, some elders feel a certain way. But I agree with you, and I think in the end, it was all the right decision anyway.
Well, I'm glad you could make it. I hope you find others
Thank you,
who will help you understand or help you see that yours aren't the only holds that are holding out.
I did see someone else from another tribe who's like me, wears a single person from their tribe representative. So I'm not the only one there. I think there's a lot more support in some of the further out tribes than we may initially have thought.
Well, glad you could make it. I really, truly am. And
Thank you.
You and Glasha and some of the others I saw you with.
Yes,
Enjoy
she's one of the other
yourselves.
ones. Thank you, Ardex. I'm gonna take my leave.
How the hell does this guy know our names?
He
But okay.
very clearly knows who you are. He knows your name. I did not include it in the conversation, but he would personally mention a reason he knows you, something you might be known for, even if you think you're only sort of known for it in your own hold. Ardax would bring it up. Man
Makes
has
him a good leader
information network.
who knows people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say he has spies everywhere.
No, not spies. He's just well connected. He has a
I
lot
think
of friends,
a
actually.
leader quality too.
Oh,
Make sure you
okay.
know everyone around you as well.
Right.
I lean over
There's
to
nothing saying.
Glasha too, and I'm like, hey, I did make sure that I mentioned that I'm not the only single tribe person here too, because you also wanted to be known.
Yes. Thank you. I have my inn. Did he seem friendly?
Very friendly, and honestly, surprisingly more friendly than I thought he would be.
That's good.
I think
I was worried he would be, unapproachable or constantly having his ear talked off by someone else, but it's good that we'll have a chance to speak to him ourselves.
Oh, he was definitely being talked off. you gotta find your moment, but he's friendly, way friendlier than my elders. So I think you'll be fine.
And this is just Ardax when he's unimpressed with you guys. Aside with all of the other events that'll happen, what you guys do around Torrentmoot will build a reputation for yourselves, and the better your reputation, the better Ardax will actually see and perhaps care about you guys and your input. You guys are already on the cusp of being mildly impressive to him solely by the number of orcs and Dromar in your party. It's very funny.
Damn, I guess I messed that one up for us.
God damn it, Steve.
It's 0 to 5 reputation points has him listed as unimpressed, and you guys are technically at 5 points right now.
Just have him keep his helmet on, and it'll be fine.
We literally got one for every person. That's funny.
It's very entertaining.
So, Jericho, for the influence, this works the same as the Wildwood Lodge worked, right?
Yes, so you guys can choose to spend time to discover things about people, who they are, their background, what they might be amenable to conversing about, what they might not enjoy talking about, as well as what skills would be best used for interacting with them, things like that. Drahan, were you going to say something there a moment ago?
Oh, I was going to ask if I've heard now about Kestrel and the and the Knights of Lastwall.
I imagine so.
I would like to go over there and talk to her.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I'll
you
go over.
make your way over as Zool is sort of among the Knights of Lastwall over here, and they're all drinking together.
And Zool would have, as soon as he saw Drahan, he would have been, Drahan, come on in, join us.
I'll take a drink and we'll look at Kestrel and say, I've heard your people have had many run-ins with the tyrant. I'm sorry for your losses, but I've heard you all were very valiant and know how to fight them. I wish to learn things from you.
We've had more than a few run-ins with his forces, and well, I'd be happy to share with you what I can, but to be entirely honest, we lost. We're losing. Doesn't mean we'll continue to lose, but our forces are definitely vastly diminished from what it once was. So, as much as you may wish to learn from us, you all are hardy folk. You've survived a much tougher environment, so I'd love to learn some things from you as well.
A mutual exchange, then. And
The
he
best
will
kind.
look impressed.
She will give a smile. Would you like to attempt an influence? Would you like to attempt a discovery? Or do you just want to chat for a little while?
Influence. I'm trying to get information. I'm giving information as well. I'm not
Sure.
just one-sided
assist?
here.
You already did an influence check. No.
You get nothing.
Drahan, you wouldn't happen to have warfare
Nothing.
lore, would you?
I don't. It's
Pity.
diplomacy would be the closest thing, unless we want to have a staring fight.
You can absolutely use diplomacy. Warfare lore would be the absolute best, simply to share war stories with Kestrel. But you can absolutely use diplomacy if you'd like.
The one time I don't take the war.
No!
Route.
I'm gonna use a hero point.
Go for it. Don't forget, you guys have so much time here, so don't feel the need to rush influence on people. But that'll absolutely be a success. As you join in the drinking, spend some time talking with them, you definitely managed to learn that Kestrel was among those who had fled to Absalom when Vigil fell. However, she became impatient. After too long of no reinforcements, no allies, with the blessing of Watcher Lord Ulthun II, she has headed back north with a few like-minded individuals to try and find allies. At this point, you would specifically learn that she doesn't technically have outright authority to make new alliances, but she has been granted, sort of in her own terms, a wide latitude to forge diplomatic ties.
Okay, more like see what people want and who you like,
Yeah.
and then ask permission.
Lay the groundwork for it. Say, hey,
Yeah.
we want write up the terms of the contract and then send it back to Absalom to be signed, sort of thing.
All right. I'd actually find it more respectable that she decided to go out and
Yeah.
do something instead of sitting there weakly.
Yeah, she directly grew impatient waiting for allies that didn't come to them and said, why are we still waiting? We should be the ones to go out and actively search for allies.
She did focus on diplomacy.
Yeah.
So this is her way of fighting.
She very much would look at you and be like, The Whispering Tyrant isn't going to wait for his next move. Why should we?
Here, here. We should strike them while the ire's hot. Destroy their forces.
Tell me, Drahan, you said, correct?
Yes.
Did you happen to fight in the Battle of Nine Broken Skulls? Terribly interested.
How long ago was that?
The Battle of Nine Broken Skulls should have been 2 to 3 years ago, because it was pretty much right
Yes.
after Tar-Baphon broke free.
Okay, then yes, I would have.
Yeah, it would have been... You know what's actually really funny? In my massive calendar I have of, like, important events prior to this campaign, they don't actually put the Battle of Nine Broken Skulls in there.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. Because there's a bit more of a focus on, you know, the War of Immortals happening recently. But it would have been within the last decade or so.
Yes, and I would have
because-
thought it. I was worried it might
Yeah.
be late, way long ago. But yes.
No, 2 to 5
Yes,
years ago.
A glorious battle it was. It wasn't Ardax, it was the predecessor that was the lead, right?
No, this was actually after Ardax took control.
Okay. Ardax's moves was brilliant. They fought with their normal undead mindlessness, but we were able to overcome with his wiles.
It was 4719, so 5 years ago was when Tar-Baphon broke free and this battle took place.
Yep.
So, haha, I somewhat know my lore.
Let's go!
Hell yeah!
It's not like I do this for a living.
No.
Yeah, she is definitely very interested in any stories you can tell of that battle, and is happy to listen. She mentions that I had no idea that the orcs of Belkzen here possessed such bravery, such heroism, such unwillingness to serve the Whispering Tyrant again. It's
You're not
truly
slaves.
interesting and emboldening to witness.
Thank you for your praise. Many of us believe we aren't slaves to them. We are our own people. We will
Good.
fight for that.
Good.
I had to ask of Lasha, do you have like can recount stories via of like that time? Like songs and such?
Of which time? Sorry, which
Of
battle?
the
are you-
battle. Yeah. Because then I would recommend her to talk to you.
Probably. I mean, she would have heard of it. Well, I don't have like orc lore, but
You are more than 5 years old, I imagine.
true.
You probably know
We-
stories of it that you could put a musical twist on.
Yeah.
I was
I'd say so.
around the campfire earlier. There was a bard among us. She probably could tell you stories better than I can weave a tale.
I think there's a certain wonder to be had in stories told by those who were on the battlefield themselves. The gritty detail of it fits the mood better than a lilting tune on occasion.
Ooh, she thinks I would embellish too much. I see how it is.
She's not, like, directly calling you out on that, but absolutely.
Oh yeah.
She's a pragmatic.
Hard moment.
She'll still enjoy it, but she enjoys the direct experience being related to someone who was actually there better. I will say, at 3 influence with Kestrel here is a threshold, of course, and Kestrel would likely consider you all friends at this point. And Ardax would likely take notice of the fact that you all are making friends with the dignitaries who are coming in, and your reputation here at Torrentmoot has increased a little bit. He is now mildly impressed with you all.
Hell yeah!
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 We have mildly impressed the guy we have never met until this day, but who knew almost everything about us, including personal details of our lives.
We talked about
Always
him
impressed with
before
me,
this
the
day.
person who's not
All right. Glasha, Gwyn, was there anyone you two wish to speak with left over tonight? Anything you wish to do? And if not, that's okay.
What are the just like as we're eating and people are talking and stuff, what are the like hobgoblins doing? Are they
They're also eating. They engage in some conversation with other people. Actually, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Yeah, I'm just curious if they seem very
People have dice, and damn it, I'm going to
friendly
make you use
or
them.
true.
No, you can't make me.
That's what you think.
I'm just gonna say I always roll 20.
Yeah, Glasha, taking a look around, sort of watching over them, they definitely speak with others. Ardax does go over to speak with them at one point, and you notice based off of their demeanor, whatever they're talking about, you aren't quite able to hear over the general din, but they have a very sort of non-committal body expressions as they're talking. However, there is still like genuine interest in their voice as they're talking to others. They're definitely fully present, they're paying attention, they're talking to people and seemingly enjoying the conversation, but you're not sure what Ardax spoke about. If he was talking about some sort of alliance right off the bat, they didn't necessarily seem to wish to commit to that sort of thing, at least right now. They're pretty formal. Like you'd probably, if I had 3 words to describe them: formal, militaristic, but curious.
Okay.
And yes, there are 4 hobgoblins that all look the exact same. Don't question where they got plastic surgery.
Well, yeah, also,
They're just
the 4 that look the same have the typical goblin head, but then the other 2 have a more human-type
Yeah,
head.
I thought they were goblins.
Oh, because hobgoblins are both goblin and human. They're both.
Mhm.
They're more human than a regular goblin.
Yeah. Definitely taller than a regular goblin.
All right. Gwyn, anything in particular you wish to do?
I'm not sure who else.
If you wanted to just spend some time to try and figure out who all the important people are here who might be worth speaking to, you could absolutely do that.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah. Go ahead and I'll say give me a just general gather information roll.
What is
which would be
that?
diplomacy.
Ah, shit.
It's also in your basic action macros under the exploration tab.
All right, let's go with that untrained 2.
Oh, you are one untrained person. What a fun guy.
Yes, I am our only untrained one, and I realized that.
You'll just roll high again.
Yeah.
You have hero points.
Yeah, just roll that 20.
Well, gather information, I believe, is blind.
It
Oh
is.
no.
I'll tell you
Sounds like
one
you-
thing. You didn't roll as well as earlier.
Maybe we do this and pray.
I do not allow hero points on blind checks. And
okay.
You know what?
Good to know.
A lot of times I'll ask it, but also Queek here can tell you if I ever ask you if you want to hero point a roll that you can't see, say no.
Yeah,
Got it.
also, if he ever asks if you want to purposely fail a save, always say no.
Or say
Never
yes.
take him up on that offer.
Say yes.
That is a cursed offer. Never!
Funny.
Want it.
Fair. All right, good to know. I will.
Yeah. Typically, I will just, in general, say no to hero pointing a blind check because you don't actually know if you failed or not. But I will ask you guys on occasions if you wish to hero point it.
Understand.
Okay. Based off of that roll, I'm going to say you don't necessarily get any names of people you guys don't already have the names of, but
Okay.
persons of interest. You could absolutely try and speak with the hobgoblins. They're from Aprak. You could absolutely speak with them. You do also learn this gentleman over here is a member of the Pathfinder Society.
Oh, very nice.
A male Dramar, pretty powerfully built, worn-looking breastplate that has been very obviously repaired several times. But definitely the type of person who brought more books than actual supplies for roughing it out in the wilderness. Has like multiple journals open. He's constantly writing things. But there is a Pathfinder Society member here.
Okay.
Aside from that, you have the members of the Golden Wheel Merchant Association that you have met, Karai and Arian Prent. There is Lakon and Tashki, members of the Death's Head Hold. There is Crick Erblin, member of the Bloody Gauntlet Hold. There is Grothlin, a member of the Gut Spear Hold? Yeah, Gut Spear. There's Kestrel, part of the Knights of Lastwall, and there is Ardax, of course, the leader of the Empty Hand. Those would probably be the generally most important individuals that you guys could speak with, perhaps try and influence. Ardax is likely going to be the hardest to try and get meetings with, but certainly not impossible.
Okay, good. Got any microphone?
But I believe that is going to bring us to the end of the first official day of Torrentmoot, as everyone has seemingly arrived by this point. Ardax has given the official welcome and the go-ahead for people to begin celebrating. Remember, this is a big festival first and foremost. This is not just a big diplomatic convention for people to talk and make alliances. This is a celebration. This is the best time of year for orcs, where preparation for the entire next year will take place. So people are going to be going out and hunting constantly. There are going to be insult contests. There will be contests of strength. You notice there are a few blacksmiths around who are already working on strange contraptions that are likely going to be challenges and tests of some sort that you can potentially participate in when they're done. There's going to be much to do during this massive celebration. But first and foremost comes rest.
And this is like a national celebration too, right? Like this is not just,
the Flood Truce is massive national. No conflict, everyone celebrates.
Got it.
Torrentmoot itself, where you guys are right now, is probably the biggest celebration going on in something that has directly been called by Ardax. These sorts of large moots don't often occur.
How many years ago did the Flood Truce happen?
Oh, the Flood Truce has been going on for centuries. Thousands of years, even, since the quest for the sky ended. Anyone who wants to, go ahead and give me a religion check to see what you might know about the Flood Truce and its origins.
Okay.
It's going to be public, I don't care. If you want to just use recall knowledge, you can, or if you want to roll just public religion, that's fine by me, too.
Oh, no.
I don't know any of that nonsense.
Gwyn. Well, you weren't.
I'm not from the area, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zool, Rog, the two of you would know about this the most. There actually aren't really facts around the origin of the Flood Truce. It has gone on for thousands of years, because without it, no one would have been able to actually live here. The deluge bringing the Aurochs into the region are what allow the orcs to actually live in this region. There are stories of the origin of the Flood Truce. Some involve Belkzen, the orc hero himself, driving the Aurochs from the north during the greening that followed the floods, and then declared personally that there would be no fighting while the waters flowed, and used that to forge his alliances, build the army that took Koldakar from the dwarves. Other stories insist that it was an alliance between Dretha, the orc goddess of birth, death, and fertility, before she went fucking missing recently, and Rule, the deity of storms and war. The two of them created the Flood Truce together as a time for the orcs to grow and flourish without battle, lulling them into a sense of complacency before scattering them to war once more. Others talk about a deal similarly between Dretha and actually one of the dwarven deities, Drangvit, the goddess of debt and vengeance, who both of them effectively got fed up with the orcs and dwarves fighting, and they arranged the Flood Truce to be a time where the orcs could actually take over the Sky Citadel. All in all, though, no one actually knows for certain. But a lot of it is sort of storied, mythological in origin.
Right, each tribe has like a slightly different variation of
Yes.
how it happened.
Yep.
I think I know because my elders every year we sit and they all go through the story.
Absolutely.
And everyone's half asleep by halfway through it.
It's a boring story.
Being all
Let's be
drunk.
fair.
Well,
So, an interesting question for you all, and I'm going to ask you this with no ill intent behind my words. Those of you who have played games with me before, forget what you know about how I operate.
that's a really great question, by the way. You got me on the edge of my seat.
During this event, are you guys taking watches at night?
I
at
definitely
night, yes.
So
Yeah.
I will say my plan is to have my familiar sleep during the day. A lot of times that way the familiar will be up at night when I'm sleeping.
Sure.
Roggen,
would
well,
allow
he's
that.
even eager to scout the area during the daytime too. Like he wants to get out into the nature in the area.
Okay. There are guards here. There are people that, from the Empty Hand, who are specifically security for the event. But I want to know if there is anyone here I should have supposedly asked who isn't going to keep watch, is going to rely solely on the guards and anyone else who might choose to not keep a watch.
Yeah, so Guru generally keeps watch of me at night.
Sure.
I will definitely take a shift at watch, as I am. Death's Head would definitely require me to do so.
Absolutely, yeah. You and some
When
of the
is
other
used
members
for
of your horde will
long
be helping out.
hours.
I think I'll try to make friends with an animal too in the area and just tell them to when I go to sleep, just to give me a heads up if anything is shady in the area.
Sure.
Zool would, at least in the beginning, take watches until he begins to trust the area he is in.
Okay. That's fair.
I guess if we still need like the full night's sleep, it's hard to say what does keep watch mean if I don't necessarily have any allies yet here. So it's kind of like...
Yeah, because many of you are used to, for those of you who are used to traveling on your own at this point, even just to get here, keeping a watch, I sort of imagine, in that sort of situation, I'm going to impose less of a penalty, probably only a -2 on your perception checks instead of a -4, as you're probably more adept at sleeping lighter and making sure to keep an ear open while you're asleep for any strange noises to awaken you. Because you wouldn't be able to take watches and still get a restful sleep when you're traveling on your own. But
Yeah, I mean, I guess after traveling here on her own and seeing the guards, I don't know, Glasha probably wouldn't.
That's
which is
completely
maybe
fair.
a mistake, but...
That's why I said, put aside any expectations of, you know about me. There is safety here. There's 40 other fucking people here. There's guards.
Of course.
Surely nothing will happen at night.
Surely.
Yeah.
I think it also, for me, also depends too, like on how well I make friends with a couple, an animal or so in the area, in regards to how much I will and will not sleep.
Considering there are relatively few animals in the area right now, like there's some birds. There's a few maybe
Birds
like
are the
prairie
best.
dogs.
To be honest, yeah, birds are usually the best. I would
Sure.
use my survivor skills to suss that out and then try to just make a a friendly, hey, I got your back, you got mine.
Go ahead and give me a nature check.
Yes.
Yeah. Until our
You want the
group,
blind?
Nah, this can be public.
Oh, shit. What a time, my friend.
Yeah.
Nice.
You absolutely. First night, even just on your way here, you would have come across some other animals who were similarly in the region, and just making friends with them. Well, you can't necessarily directly speak to them. You are able to, effectively come to small agreements where you both sort of understand. You sort of help keep a watch out for them, and they make sure that if anything happens when they're awake at night, they'll chirp loudly.
Yeah, and then when I go foraging, I'll give them a little extra food. It's like what I do with my dog now, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Rog?
Yeah.
As a druid, can't you just innately speak to animals or plants? I thought they changed that in the
No,
remaster.
No.
it's like a it's still that like lower level. I can get to that point, but I'm not there yet.
Okay.
You have animal empathy right now.
Yes. I do.
That is inherently gained by druids, but it's typically you either get animal empathy or plant empathy.
Yeah, and then I
okay.
can also get animal. I think talking spell through
Yes.
primal. So
No,
that's
we
where
have
I
multiple
meant like it
people
goes
with
higher.
the forager feat. No.
The one feet Jericho hates.
My least favorite feat in this game.
One?
Never failed to
Forager.
assist.
Ah, yeah.
I have a hatred for the forager feat, but the Badlands Scout background gives it for free. So we've got 2 people with it in this game, and I can't ever starve you out now. What
Who
a
needs
tragedy!
food?
You know what? If you want to purposefully starve
We
yourself,
all
that'll
have
make me happy.
survival too, so.
That I'm okay with. I just don't like forager being a level 1 feat that prevents you from crit failing or even regular failing.
Wait, so
Well, it's
you
only
can only
varied.
succeed or critically succeed
Yes.
on a subsist check?
Mm-hmm.
That's broken as shit!
Forager
Yeah.
is if you roll any result worse than a success, you get a success. And on a success, you can provide sustenance for yourself and 4 other creatures.
Okay,
It's-
so one of us will starve.
Well, 2 of you have Forager, unfortunately.
Ah, never mind. Okay, so none
Yeah.
of us will starve.
Not even the
And we play
familiar
we
will
play a
starve.
game of who gets to live. Yeah.
It's a real tragedy. All right. Well, I'm not going to necessarily ask for perception checks here while you guys are going to sleep. If they are necessary, I will either ask for them or roll them myself. I keep dice in person just for that reason, so you guys will never know. But that is the first day of Torrentmoot. That'll bring us to the morning of the 15th of Desnus, as Torrentmoot is officially underway. As morning arrives, a number of individuals already are sort of getting together to head out onto hunts, but it is up to you all what you would like to spend today doing. Talking with others, if you wish to go survey the region. If you want to earn money, you can do that. I won't stop you. I'll only judge you partially.
I wish to participate in the wrestling.
You can absolutely participate in the wrestling. Are you kidding me? You are welcome to go wrestle people. As is your calling in life.
Well, I'm just gonna survey.
I put
the
my mask
area.
on and I go in.
Wait, if you have spirits, is it 2v1? So I get a second person.
Actually,
Well,
Rock
and he's
go
not
out
as familiar,
to the
so it's
wrestling
3v1.
and watch it.
You're gonna watch the wrestling, Rog?
Well, yeah, I was about to leave to go do a survey, and I saw that they were about to wrestle each other, so I stopped for a second just to like watch it real quick before I leave.
Sure.
I'll go with Crow and ask him, hey, do you want to do a tag team match?
I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
I would probably go out if there's people going out hunting. I would go out hunting.
Sure. Most of the hunts are multi-day affairs, because they are relative group hunts. Again, you guys will get... This is like the one slight metagamey thing. You guys are going to get asked to go on a hunt tomorrow.
Okay, so instead I probably would participate in the wrestling, I guess.
Sure. If you guys
This
want
will
to
get
spend
more
time
entertaining by the
wrestling,
second.
why not?
How you make more friends?
This will get more and more entertaining by the second. I wonder if we can get bets going here.
Diplomacy via wrestling.
Hey,
Now, are you
know what?
allowed to
Or do-
wrestle with plate armor, or do you have to take that off?
Hey, there's very few rules when it comes to wrestling here in Belkzen.
Armor doesn't make a difference in wrestling.
I mean,
Honestly, it just
it's
makes you
kinda
easier
pointy.
to throw.
Yeah.
Hey, Crow.
What, do you have swallow spike runes on your armor? I promise I'm not going to eat your character in this campaign.
Oh my god, not this
Yeah.
shit. I am not the one who's been eaten, but I have a friend who got eaten every single campaign by Ryan.
He insists on being a goblin in every campaign.
Oh, that's just
Okay,
That's a new
okay.
one.
He's
That's
gobbling
the
me,
only
you
small
know?
character in the party in every campaign.
Yeah, anyone who
I've heard
plays a
people-
small character is just asking to get consumed.
I hate you.
That's why my goblin bites back.
Good.
It's while the goblin just starts munching on the insides of the creature with its teeth.
That is the only
Yeah.
correct response.
Well, he actually has a reflex that when someone grapples him, he bites.
Yeah.
Nice.
I do
No.
want to ask,
If I
during,
crit, it ends the grapple.
during Torrentmoot, is anyone going to participate in hunger crushing?
What
Fuck
is
is
that?
that?
What is under crushing?
Competitive fasting.
No.
Jesus.
I think you're trying to get us to starve
How do you-
ourselves again? Nice.
Yeah, how do
Great.
you do
Yeah.
it?
How
What
do you
happens
do
when you
this?
participate in
That's
this?
to you.
Nothing. You just, typically, if you ever come across someone who has the title The Empty, that's them boasting about they were the best hunger crusher back in their hold.
Yeah, but my question is, what are you rolling to do this?
Fortitude saves.
What did you say?
Yeah.
Let's see, how good is my fortitude
It
save?
is hunger crushing is a form of competitive fasting where the longer you resist the need for food, the greater your standing in your hold rises.
What comes
However,
with this?
Let-
absolutely nothing. And a lot of times, like higher ups in a hold, it's mostly the young warriors who do this because they're stupid, and they just
Well-
think it makes them look cool.
Be honest how it came about. One family couldn't hunt very well, and instead of admitting it to the rest of the hold, they're like, "No, we're competing."
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
That was the smart family. That was the
that
smart
sounds,
family.
that sounds totally legit.
So, Jericho, mechanically, if you,
You'd be
let's say
giving
you
me a
make
fortitude save every day.
but is the failure like fatigue or something like that,
Good question.
or just
I'm not telling you in advance.
damn it?
You can make the decision and suffer the consequences. Very few people at Torrentmoot are actually going to participate in hunger crushing, since this is festivities and feasting. It's more people who remain at home at the holds that would participate in it.
Hey,
But
Crow.
it's one of my favorite little
Yeah.
bits of lore I have about Torrentmoot and the flood truce.
Crow, do you want to
Yes.
take part in this? Tell me what the bones and the spirits say.
I'm gonna shake up the bones, and after I take them out and I throw them down, I study them. I said, well, today we should be victorious. However, the main point of this is definitely to make stronger allies.
Rog
Agreed.
leans over to Glasha and says, I don't know if you can really read the bones or she's just really drunk all the time.
Hmm.
Is there a difference?
I will
I
let
guess
you
we'll
know.
find out over time.
As we kill things, my bone bag will get larger.
He just tosses like
That is the most cursed thing you could have said. Please stop.
a gallon thing of bones onto the
A
ground.
gallon bag.
I'd like to introduce you to my friend Solomon from my Bloodlords campaign, who also likes to stuff corpses into a bag. So you might get along with him.
Well, my goblin has
introduce you to
corpses in a
Crow?
bag too, but that's because he's a ghoul.
This guy's a zombie, so checks out.
Should
You
I
gotta keep
introduce
food
you to
somehow.
Crow, the character who also put corpses in bags?
We don't need to be sticking corpses in bags. What is it with
Okay, but,
RPG
like,
players
we
and sticking
could.
corpses in bags?
I
Because
just love that
corpses are
Paizo said
useful.
no.
Because corpses are useful, irregardless of what some people want to say.
True.
It's my rations, okay?
Yep, and
my
that's the last
God,
thing I
it's
wanted to
my-
hear.
It's my God-given right to grab corpses and put them in bags.
Only if you can find a bag. Only if you have a bag of holding big enough to put it in.
Or
Okay,
something with a
even-
preserving
Holding.
room.
I even created
spend money on it.
a mummified cat in order to keep the corpses fresh.
Oh, goodness.
He did.
You all need help. It may be
Too
your
much,
God-given
Bob.
right to
Too
store
much.
corpses in a bag.
God
It's
damn
my
it.
God-given right to smite you for it.
20
Never
D10
said he was-
spirit damage, bitch.
Never said he was a good character.
True.
Fair enough. All
Morality,
right.
who needs it?
Well, so who all is participating in wrestling right now?
Me.
I-
Are you guys wrestling
I'm-
yourselves or trying to wrestle others?
Others.
Others. Are you trying to earn money off of this wrestling or just trying to wrestle for fun?
No,
Just trying
trying
to
to
wrestle for fun?
build relations.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I look
Obviously
over at
via
the merchants?
wrestling.
I'll also participate. Why
Can I
not?
look over at the merchants to see if they're doing any bets?
If you're not trying to earn money off of it, they're not going to be doing any bets if you're just trying to build relations. If you were trying to specifically earn money, they'd probably open up some bets.
It's very conflicting for Rog. He's gonna sit that out. Just watch.
Okay.
His wisdom is gonna take the better of him.
Sure.
Gwyn will join. Will join the wrestling.
Absolutely. There is going to be a number of people you guys can each attempt to influence here with with this sort of wrestling. And I want to leave it up to you guys if there are specific people that you would like to try and influence.
Yes, I would like to try to influence the hobgoblins.
The hobgoblins, absolutely you can. I'd say at this point you guys are able to learn that the leaders of the hobgoblins are Lieutenant Nar and Sub-Captain Nix among them. And
Man, look at them shoes.
you can absolutely attempt to influence the hobgoblins with athletics doing this wrestling. Hell, they'll even participate, probably.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's
let's
what I
do
was
it.
hoping for.
All right. So we've got Crow trying to influence the hobgoblins. Who else?
Oh, we'll just go
me.
straight hobgoblins.
Yeah, hobgoblins all the way.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so we got 4 people trying to influence the hobgoblins. Let's get some athletics rolls going.
All right.
Okay, so real quick,
Yeah.
Jericho. I'm gonna during this use my stance, tenacious stance, which makes me +2 versus shoving and grappling.
Sure, absolutely.
Let me double check that. It does something cool.
Yeah, it gives you a +2 circumstance bonus to your DCs against being shoved and tripped, but you no
Yes.
longer negate your armor check penalty for speed.
Unburdened iron. Ignore the penalty check for movement.
Oh, I'm
iron
assuming
for
you're
armor.
wrestling without your armor on?
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
are
I
you
am. I
completely
don't need
thick?
the armor on for this either.
All right.
Goddamn
Oh, yes.
unburdened iron.
Yup.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
yeah.
Rolls.
Damn.
Okay.
We got a lot of crits here.
Got some amazing rolls. Goodness gracious.
Thank
Beating
God.
hobgoblins too bad.
Oh,
Man. Good thing
I
those,
really wanted it.
that foundry hack is working. I mean, what?
Look, I was going through my
Like, I was
modules
getting
earlier
up
today, and I found the Karmic Dice module, and I was like, sometimes I feel like I need this in a game, but I decided against it.
I'm gonna ask that you get the hover module,
Which hover module?
so I can see the profiles of people when I hover over them.
Portrait hover, it's called.
The portrait hover, yeah.
I didn't even know that existed.
I really like it.
Look at
And
me
it-
learning
'cause, like,
new things.
yeah.
I'm just gonna say we're not that roll.
Gwyn, it is up to you if you'd like to hero point that roll.
Yes, I am absolutely hero pointing that roll. God damn it!
Oh,
And that is unfortunately not lower than your previous roll, so you will not
I
regain the
know.
hero point with the rules we're trying out in this campaign.
I know.
Oh, sorry.
Unfortunately. I don't know how I feel about only getting it back if it's lower. I'll think on that. For those of you who haven't played with me before, my previous rule was you only got 2 at the start of session, but if you re-rolled into a fail of any sort, you would regain the hero point, and also anytime you rolled a nat 1, you would gain a hero point. And that has felt like a bit much in some campaigns, so I might keep it that if you fail, just in general, yeah, let's go with that. If you fail the roll, still you get the hero point back. So Gwyn, go ahead and regain that hero point.
Yay.
I'm just going to get rid of the gaining a hero point on a nat 1 and instead have you start with 3.
Alright.
Okay.
That's what we'll go with for this game. Locked in.
Okay.
We still got some fantastic rolls. A success from Crow, a success from Drahan, and a crit success from Zool. Is absolutely going to put
We
you guys...
toss some hobgoblins around.
Yeah, and not just the hobgoblins, the regular orcs as well. Once you guys get into this, it very quickly devolves into a massive all-day event of just almost an endurance test of wrestling. Doing your best to not get knocked down. Once you get knocked down, you're out. Last one standing. Multiple bouts of this. And it is very frequent that someone among your member or your number is the last one standing during this sort of event today. Suffice to say, the hobgoblins are quite impressed with you by the end of it, and if you wish to speak with them at any point, you're more than welcome to. Especially Lieutenant Nar, who is very clearly in charge, is happy to speak with you all.
I will speak with him, and I'll congratulate him on how well his hobgoblins did in there, even though they didn't win, but they gave a good fight.
Well, it was our pleasure to participate in such an intriguing event. We definitely... Well, we underestimated the raw strength that you held, for sure. Today, at least.
I expect to see you come back stronger then.
Oh, that won't take longer to accomplish. Maybe I'll participate myself tomorrow. If, of course, you're still going to be hosting these sorts of events.
I imagine we will do more.
Oh, yes.
We would definitely enjoy your presence.
Well, look forward to my participation on this next time. Perhaps you might not find yourself a victor any longer.
The bones said today I was the victor. They did not say anything about the future or for wrestling here. So you do stand a chance.
I look forward to it.
I will take my leave.
Rog and Galasha. Rog, I believe you wished, after watching a little bit of this wrestling, did you still wish to go out and scout the region? Get a lay of the land?
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see here. What lore skills do you have? I would allow Badlands lore if you didn't wish to just give survival, but survival would be the regular check for this.
I'll probably do survival.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see what you can find out.
Oh, those are cool dice.
Oh, you went with some animated dice as well? Nice.
Yeah, I like your selection.
I was just thinking, I need to look. I haven't looked at the dice yet.
Customize your dice, damn it. All right. Spending the better part of the afternoon, specifically sort of looking around the outskirts of Torrentmoot, venturing out to get a lay of the land generally. I'd say with that roll, you come back after today with a pretty solid understanding. To the east and north, the ground continues to rise. Greenery covers the ground as well as some trees. As it gets low towards the actual road, what will become the flood road when the waters come down in a few weeks, the land is much more rocky and barren. Small patches of sort of tough, low grass and a few scraggly bushes, but generally very open, very easy to see what's going on, catch creatures that might be in the area.
Doing like pretty devoid of life outside of the smaller creatures that thrive in that kind of environment.
Generally devoid of life. One thing catches your attention, though, while you're out and about in the Badlands today. What looks to be flock of creatures flying up in the air. Well off in the distance from where you are and in the opposite direction of Torrentmoot, further to the north. It catches your attention because, while they have wings, they are very clearly not birds. Because that flock of creatures have deer bodies. From what you can see the sort of longer hoofed legs in the air attached to each of the bodies. Go ahead and give me a recall knowledge roll. You do recognize them as Perytons.
Shit.
Oh,
Effectively an amalgam of a stag, a wolf, and a hawk. However, they are beasts, but they are capable of conversation. However, they are hunters. And
And a pack of.
there is a full pack of them, it seems, off in the distance.
Did it seem like they were circling, or they were just flying?
Just
in the
flying.
direction? Okay. Could I ascertain as to what direction they seem to be flying?
In general, let me
Yeah, like
see.
southeast, west kind of thing.
Sorry, the in general was me more talking to myself.
Oh, sorry,
that was
sorry.
me starting to describe and then
Got it.
failing. My apologies. It would have been. I have it in my notes for no particular reason. East. So they were northeast of where Torrentmoot is ground, and they were heading east, as you noticed them.
That would be towards actually where storm screamers are.
So
Be
if we
northeast.
if we pull up the Belkzen map, 'cause I have
Oh,
this,
nice.
you can see you guys are all actively right down here at Torrentmoot, and they would have been a bit further north and heading east.
This is a helpful map.
Yeah, very nice. Unfortunately, it does not name many of the various holds. It just gives little icons for them, but we do our best. So, as you come back with a good understanding of the terrain in the surrounding region and knowledge of a group of decently violent predators somewhat in the region, Galasha, what are you up to today?
if there is a time during the wrestling or something where like many others are distracted, and he's not, I would maybe try to talk to Ardax.
Yeah, I'd say you could find some time to go and speak with Ardax. There isn't really a time where he's not busy. But you would be able to catch sort of a moment in the early afternoon as Kestrel is actually leaving his tent in a conversation with him, and you are able to head in as well, if you would like.
Yeah. I guess I'll just introduce myself and be like, Glasha Dunecho from the Drowning Sand. I just wanted to introduce myself and give a thanks for holding this whole event. It's gotten quite lively out there.
I'm glad you could make it. You actually notice as you walk in, he's sort of in the process of what looks to be fastening feathers to arrow shafts, just as you're talking to him. I'm glad that you could make it, Glasha. It was heartwarming to see at least one of your tribe be able to make it this way.
Yes. You know how, Chief Greldim? You know how the chief can be. Many are just concerned with their own, earning coin and holding territory, but there are many of us in the tribe who are supportive, so. I see you're pretty busy today. I'll just look at what he's
Apologies.
doing with the arrows.
Prefer to work as I talk. Helps me relax.
That's okay, I understand. Preparing for anything in particular, or you're just, needing more supplies?
He sort of like opens up his hairs in a self-deprecating gesture for a moment. Nothing of the sort. Making arrows is simply second nature to me at this point. It's a go-to. Simple supplies, not terribly difficult. Keeps the hands busy.
Of course. I've definitely spent many hours tuning my instruments or oiling the drums, making sure everything works correctly. It's just part of the craft.
Agreed. Tell me, have you had any inspiration as of yet, being here or traveling here? I know you're well known amongst your people for coming up with some more, well, new songs to add to their repertoire, so I was interested if you've come up with anything as of yet.
Oh, you've, I'm a little surprised if you had, heard of me from this tribe. I mean, there are many talented, musicians in Belkzen, so... but aside from that, I guess so. There's been... I guess this competition today was quite a sight, and probably could provide some inspiration, but... nothing I can demonstrate to you yet.
Well.
Tell me, do you know if there are any others who create songs or play things like me? Any others that are here at the Torrentmoot?
There are a few other musicians here, yes. None so, dare I say, inspiration-driven as you, but there are a few who have been known to pick up an instrument and play. I don't have names for them, but he will specifically call out a few members of the guard, and as will also call out Lakon from the Death's Head as maybe not necessarily instrumentally gifted, but definitely have a way with words. Either telling stories or singing directly. Give me a sense motive check if you don't mind.
Ah. I didn't even have to ask for one myself.
I know. I can read minds.
And wait, I have Monstrous Peacemaker. I don't know if that would apply. I mean, he is an orc, but we're kind of all orcs.
Monstrous Peacemaker. Let me read that feat. Let's see. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to diplomacy checks against non-humanoid intelligent creatures and against humanoids that are marginalized in human society. Typically, at least including giants, kobolds, orcs, and goblins. That is a very funny feat for this campaign. Yeah, I'll absolutely give you a bonus.
The second one is perception and Or to sense motive, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead and take this bonus. Okay. You sense that he is hinting at something, perhaps, with his words, as he's calling out those individual figures, but you aren't actually quite able to tell what exactly he's hinting
Oh,
at
damn.
here. He's not doing a great job of hinting at it, as he's just sort of describing others as being good with words. Hell, he might even describe some of them as braggadocious.
Okay.
But you don't quite pick up on what he's going for right now.
Wait, who was the guy he mentioned who, what was his name? It was the...
So there were a few of the guards that I don't have names for, and Lakon.
Lakon, okay, yeah,
Yep.
that guy, okay.
Lakon, Lakon. I don't know, man. Pronunciation's hard.
Well, I'll certainly ask Lakon about it. Thank you. And,
Of course.
pleasure to meet you. I will leave you be. I'm sure you're very busy today.
You've caught like one or two people peeking in the tent to see if he's busy already. Want to speak with him? If you would like to go ahead and give me a diplomacy check, or if you think you have a better check for influencing Ardax, you're welcome to.
Performance. No, sure. Yeah, diplomacy.
Sure. A very good check. All right. Well, as the first true full day of Torrentmoot begins to come to a close, not quite the same level of feasting occurring as last night, but still a hefty amount of delicious food cooked free for everyone. There is no need to pay for food or provide your own if you do not wish to at this event. That is going to be where we bring our first session to a close.
All right.
Thank you all so much for playing. I do so hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next week.
All right.
Thank you.
There we go.
Talk to you then.
Very good time. Nice to meet everybody.
Later.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you too, Bull.